Is everyone here? Wind style number 11, here. Thunder style number 7, here. Earth style number 14, here. Excellent, everyone's present. As the one in charge of the Jiangling region, I've gathered you here to give you an important assignment. Shui Lu, Sky style number 3. What the hell kind of assignment is it for it to require the gathering of all the assassins in this region? The Blissful Temple has spent 500,000 taels for us to assassinate one of the elders of the Maching sect. The Maching sect is one of the 9 great demonic sects in the Han Empire, and even though they're at the bottom of the scale, they're still a force to be reckoned with, and she's an innate realm expert, to say the least. I'm afraid this may not have been a good deal. The sphere of influence of our clan only revolves around the Jiangling region, so this will be an opportunity to show our worth. Even if we take a few losses, it will be worth it. Moreover, the Blissful Temple also forked out an additional 5,000 taels for a secondary assignment. They want us to murder a man named Xia Yan. The relevant details on Xia Yan are all on this scroll. It will be fine for just a few thunders to stay behind to deal with him. The rest of you will follow me. Since he's such a beautiful man, I'd like to have a little meeting with him. Commander, please allow me to stay. Very well, it's better to go all out, even when fighting an insignificant enemy. You, Thunder number 8 and number 17 will stay behind to slaughter him. With you at the 5th layer of the acquired realm, and the other 2 at the 3rd, there shouldn't be any problems. Hee, you little rascal, you really do enjoy your BL. You've already toyed 180 men to their deaths. I thank the commander for this gift. Perfect, so this is the power of the finger of flowery swords at level 1. It can be turned as long or as short as one pleases with unstoppable force, and to my surprise, with a cost of only 10 origin points, it was really a bargain. At present, given the amount of my innate energy, the sword tip can only reach a distance of 5 chi, so calling it unstoppable might be a bit of a stretch. Though ordinary weapons definitely aren't a match for it. My innate energy ran out so quickly. With the first layer of the acquired realm, I can't even maintain it for half a minute. Isn't this thing a little too energy consuming? Since it only took 10 points to raise it to level 1, level 2 shouldn't be all that expensive either, so let me continue upgrading it. Upgrade the finger of flowery swords to level 2. Whoa, what a strong response! To my surprise, the upgrade of the finger of flowery swords to level 2 allowed me to return my cultivation realm back to the 3rd layer. Just one level up was enough to advance my cultivation realm by 2 layers. It's indeed worthy of being called an innate realm skill. If I keep it at around 3 chi, I can fight against other people for a quarter of an hour without any problems. But this isn't the most important thing. I can send out the sword tip to hit a target in the twinkling of an eye. Not bad at all. This is just like the 6 miles holy sword where you can release the sword energy from your body. I can't believe the upgrade to level 2 actually used up 200 origin points. This is totally out of proportion with the amount spent for level 1. What changed in the upgrade to level 1 was the usage of the skill, but its nature didn't in the slightest. On the upgrade to level 2, the skill sharply improved, and my cultivation realm was advanced by 2 layers. I'm guessing that most of the 200 origin points were used to advance it. No matter, let me see if I upgrade it to level 3. I went through a lot of trouble for this upgrade. It actually took me 400 origin points. But the results are impressive, since I advanced to the 6th layer of the acquired realm, and the best of it all is that I was finally able to grasp the meaning of bending and turning it as one pleases and moving its energy as one wills. Go! With the finger of flowery swords at level 3, I can maintain control of the sword energy even after it's shot out. It's basically impossible for an ordinary person to defend or hide against it. Return. With my cultivation realm advancing to the 6th layer, the Heavenly Guard's defense has also developed accordingly. Even if it were Qin Shinzi, she might not be able to break through it. But unfortunately, I'm now short on origin points. Now that my whole body is coursing with boundless innate energy, I really want to find an opponent to have a friendly competition with, since I only have these flowers and trees on hand right now. Alas, this is probably that lonely feeling of being invincible. It's too hot to travel on foot today. I'd better find a fast horse when I get to the public road. According to the 3rd elder, Wu Lingxian is establishing ties everywhere. She must have lost her patience. I have to pick up the pace. Is he Xia Yan? Yes, that's him. He's the one I saw leaving Jiangling by boat. He's a handsome man indeed. Yet he's just a pretty boy at the 3rd layer of the acquired realm. So why don't we just capture him alive and let you play with him, boss? No way. It's a taboo for we assassins to turn self-indulgent and underestimate our enemy, let alone a practitioner at the third layer of the acquired realm. Even if the target were an ordinary person, we must wait for the right moment, when the target lets his guard down, to kill him with a single strike. You're completely right, boss, we were being too arrogant. Without this kind of professionalism, none of us would live for long. Besides, it doesn't matter if we catch him alive or not, as long as we dig in while he's still warm. It'll be fine. It's such a hot day, but you still came out to chop firewood? The ordinary people in this world are very hard-working indeed. Excuse me, young lord. What's up? Is the city of Jiangling in this direction? That's right, 3 or 4 more days along this road, and you'll reach Jiangling. Young lord, your assistance in pointing me in the right direction has been most helpful. I'm but a man of the countryside and am unable to repay your kindness. Given that it's so torrid today, I'd like to offer you some refreshing spring water from the mountains. Thanks you. Xia Yan, prepare to die. The one who killed you is the wind emblem number 12 from the Shui Lu. He could react in such a short period of time and perform a body-protecting skill? And the 3 of us couldn't break through it with an all-out strike. The intel was wrong. His cultivation exceeds the 3rd layer of the acquired realm. Don't be afraid, he's already drunk the poisonous water, and after it takes effect, even if he was at the 9th layer, he'd be hard-pressed to withstand our attacks. Finger of Nirvana. I've seen right through you long ago. Do you really think I'd dare to drink your water without taking precautions? Impossible. How did you figure it out? It's very simple. I have a mind-reading skill, so I knew what kind of twisted scheme you were pulling at a glance. Their hostility towards me was strong enough to provide me with origin points. I'd be a fool not to notice. Mind-reading skill? Haha, I guess you're one of those kinds of people who are naturally sensitive to killing intent. But it doesn't matter, the previous scheme was just the our clan's style of exercising caution against our target. Since you saw through it, then that's that. Now I'll give you a taste of the hard way. Fist of God instant punch. Fist of God revolving elbow strike. As expected, he's full of openings. Given this boy's vigorous innate energy, he seems to be at the 6th layer of the acquired realm. But other than the Heavenly Guard, he doesn't know any other martial arts. His attack moves are nothing but parlor tricks. In a dogfight like this, no one's innate energy would be infinite. The moment this boy runs out of it is the moment he dies. This punk's martial arts are unremarkable indeed. Thunder 8 attack his lower parts, Thunder 17 attack his left. Haha, in my eyes, he's a dead man. Dead man? The only dead man here is him. You released your innate energy. You pretended to be a fool, but you're actually an innate realm expert. You were too full of yourselves just now. Ultimate demonic bliss, may hell be your afterlife. Win 12. Win 12, it was your plan that went awry. Win 12, I'll haunt you for all eternity. Not bad, you've even got human bombs, though thanks to my sturdy body, I'm not afraid of explosions in the least. Don't run, old buddy. Don't think you've won just yet. I, an assassin of the Shui Lu, will not rest until my quarry is slain. Next time. There won't be a next time. Talk. Why did the Shui Lu want me dead? Humph, just kill me. There are no feelings between us, and I gave you medical treatment just now. Can't you even tell me why you wanted to kill me? Don't even think that you're going to pry a single word out of my mouth. It seems I'm being too gentle. You must have already witnessed with your own eyes how these fingers have the ability to heal and to harm people. You wish to die, but I'm afraid I won't be giving you that pleasure. What are you going to do? Kill me? Come on, come on, come on. Tell me what 1000 minus 7 is. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything. It turns out these guys are from the most mysterious killer organization in the Han Empire, the Shui Lu. The leader of the Shui Lu is a man shrouded in mystery. Rarely does he show up, and he's known for pulling the strings from behind the scenes. The only thing outsiders know about him is that he's known as the Elder of Bliss. He's an expert at the 9th layer of the innate realm and is said to be only one step away from becoming an immortal at the heavenly realm. The assassins of the Shui Lu are divided into 4 classes: Sky, Earth, Wind, and Thunder. Sky emblems are experts at the innate realm. Earth emblems are practitioners from the 7th to the 9th layer of the acquired realm. Wind emblems at the 5th, and Thunder emblems at the 3rd. Currently, the person in charge of the Jiangling region accepted an assignment from the Blissful Temple to assassinate an elder from the Moqing sect. Killing me was only a secondary task. It looks as if the Blissful Temple is getting ready to take action against the Moqing sect. The Moqing sect is still in a state of unrest, and its people aren't united. Plus, I don't know if the Great Elder has anything to do with this. Even if the matriarch has recovered, the current situation is very dangerous. The difference in strength between the two sides is so great that this won't even be a fight. Should I just run away? Or should I hurry back and inform the matriarch before I do? Let me ask you, what was the meaning of that catchphrase ultimate demonic bliss, may hell be your afterlife you shouted a moment ago? And just what kind of weird martial art was that inexplicable human bomb? That's the Shui Lu's unique mantra skill, the ultimate demonic bliss technique. It's similar to the ultimate demonic disintegration technique, which can unleash one's full potential. The assassins of the Shui Lu come from all around the world and have almost no contact with each other in their daily lives. Moreover, because we live a life of cloak and dagger, the transition from old to new members happens very frequently, so we oftentimes barely know each other. But by practicing the ultimate demonic bliss technique, we assassins will be able to sense and judge each other's identity and rank, thus preventing spies. Hold on a moment there. Are you saying that if you practice this technique, you can enter the Shui Lu as an assassin? Yes, that's exactly right. Then what's the deal with that human bombing thing? That's because his practice wasn't enough to keep it under control, so he blew up. If it were me, at most it would only greatly undermine my vitality, but I wouldn't explode. Is that so? Yes, of course. How could I ever dare to lie to you when I'm like this? I want to learn this skill. Teach me. Of course, I'll teach it to you. That's it. I just can't help but feel that there's something missing. That's all I know about the ultimate demonic bliss technique. Buddy, you don't seem to be telling me the whole truth. This skill isn't complete, right? It isn't complete. The ultimate demonic bliss technique is divided into 4 classes: sky, earth, wind, and thunder. The highest level is only known by our leader, and the one I taught you is the wind emblem class, which I've learned. Wind emblem class? Are you sure? Isn't it the thunder emblem class? How could you think such a thing? What I taught is indeed the wind emblem class technique. Apart from allowing everyone to sense each other, the ultimate demonic bliss technique is also a means for a superior to control his subordinates. Within a certain range, those who've practiced and have a better grasp of this martial art would be able to control others more lacking in it to blow themselves up. The higher one's level is, the more complete the martial art will be, and the higher one's control would be. You've imparted me with the Thunder Emblem class technique, and since you have practiced the Wind Emblem class, you wanted to wait for me to learn it so that you could control me. Am I right? No, how could you possibly know that? Too bad you won't have the opportunity. You got me all wrong. This is all but a misunderstanding. You were given a chance, and you're still trying to play tricks on me? You can go to hell now. No. If it weren't for the system's skill introduction, I would have almost fallen for it. In theory, if I could upgrade the ultimate demonic bliss over the level cap, I could control the entirety of the Shui Lu and solve this trouble easily. But what I have now is only a fragment, and the system's upgrade function may not be able to make up for it. This is a double-edged sword that must be practiced carefully. In the event I fail to upgrade it to the highest level of its full version, I'll be controlled by others. Therefore, the best solution is to go to another world to practice the ultimate demonic bliss technique. If I can't do it, I'll just give up on the quest, then I won't be able to bring back the martial arts I practiced in that world. But if I can, I'm going to present an incredible fireworks display in honor of the beautiful matriarch. The Chuncheong world is made of martial artists and martial arts, and these martial artists establish various sects and fight with each other. They make the only order in the world of chaos. Some of them became strong through hard work, some through talent, some through the family property. However, some of them became strong through luck. Xie Yan used to be an ordinary person. He accidentally got a piece of mysterious jade from outer space. The jade could simulate different incomplete martial arts and combine martial arts of similar nature. It's a sacred artifact in the world with thousands of martial arts. With it, Xie Yan rapidly became one of the few great masters in this world. He had the support of many powerful martial artists. Consequently, he founded the Tai Chi sect and developed it into one of the top 5 sects in the world. Xiaotian, you're my sworn brother. I want you to be the vice sect leader. You're only second to me in the Tai Chi sect. Besides, he married Huan Nongyu, the #1 beauty in the martial world. he had a wonderful life, with his brother's help and his wife's company. Xie Yan thought so until, that day. The tea is poisonous. Hua Nongyu, how dare you poison me? Xie Yan, you're wrong, she's not the only one who wants to kill you. I am too. I trust you two most, why did you do that? Why? Do you remember what you said after you had sleep with her a few days ago? Darling, you wear the jade all the time, is it a token of love from your former girlfriend? You read too much into it, you're the only one, the jade is a sacred artifact, it can help me cultivate, I can't be so powerful without it. Xie Yan, never show the depths of your mind, you shouldn't have told such an important thing to anyone. It's mine now. You only developed the Tai Chi sect into the top 5 sects, how dare you waste such a sacred artifact? The Tai Chi sect deserves to be the #1 sect in the world. Xie Yan, it's time for you to stand down. Your disciple, your wife, your power, and your wealth are all mine, I'm going to take everything from you. After that night, Long Xiaotian announced that Xie Yan had died of a sudden disease and that he would be the sect leader of the Tai Chi sect. Xie Yan lost his cultivation base because of the potent poison. Meanwhile, he lost everything. However, Long Xiaotian didn't kill Xie Yan. Instead, he put him in the dungeon and tortured him. He just wanted to learn the rebound Zen of Tai Chi which Xie Yan created after absorbing the advantages of all the defending martial arts in the world. Even if you would keep me here for the rest of my life, I won't tell you the complete martial arts. Your rebound Zen of Tai Chi combines all the defending martial arts in the world. I admit it's extraordinary. But Xie Yan, you've been kept in the dungeon for 5 years. Do you think I did that for the rebound Zen of Tai Chi? I've created a martial art superior to it with the jade. It's called the Universal Gold Body and it adopts the essence of all the defending martial arts in the world. Though it can't make the attack rebound like the rebound Zen of Tai Chi, it can strengthen my defense by absorbing my enemy's internal power. So my internal power is inexhaustible now. Even Hong Tong Tian got killed by me half a month ago. The rebound Zen of Tai Chi is useless to me. That's impossible. Don't you believe me? I understand. After all, Hong Tong Tian is the head of the 5 tops in the world. He's said to be the #1 martial artist in the world. You would have got defeated within 100 bouts if you had challenged him at your peak. Well, all the credits should go to you and your followers. Sword. This is Demon Refining Sword. It's a rare treasure from overseas. It's specifically used for destroying the protective shield, but it takes the blood of tens of thousands of men to activate it. It used to be yours, but you were too soft-hearted to feed it with blood. I'm different to you. I've killed all your followers in the sect. Only my henchmen are left in the Tai Chi sect now. Long Xiaotian, how dare you? So what? More than that, I'll kill you too. You can't do anything to me now. My dear sworn brother. Long, watch out, don't let his blood splash on you. I hate the smell of blood most. Hua Nongyu, how dare you show up in front of me? I treated you well, why did you betray me? What an idiot. You're so naive, think about it, who introduced her to you? Nongyu, this is Xie Yan, he's the martial artist I've told you about. Yan, this is my friend, she's called Hua Nongyu, the #1 beauty in the martial world. How dare you? You offered to be my sworn brother and assist me and she told me she admired me and loved me, so that's how the matters stand. You cheating couple, I'll kill you. Nongyu, look at him, does he look like a dog? Don't say that, he's my nominal husband anyway. Then let's cuckold him once again. You want me now, why do you have to do that before him? You're so naughty. He fainted, what a loser. Long, don't give him any chances to turn things around. When will you kill him? The election of the martial chancellor will be held in a month. The competition will be held on the Five-Finger Mountain. I'm done with the Universal Gold Body. I can't wait to rule the martial world. I'll send him to hell after I defeat the rest of the 5 tops and become the martial chancellor. Random world search complete. Discovered Chunxiong World. 50 origin points required to transmigrate. Chunxiong World, Xie Yan, the sect leader of the Tai Chi sect, soul replacement completed. Why am I in chains and all beat up this time? What the hell is going on? Beginning memory import completed. Not only was his cheat robbed, but all his hard work was taken away. And even his wife was snatched right in front of him. That's just too tragic. Master Xie, it's time for your daily workout again. Does it feel good? Are you enjoying it? I want to hear you scream, cry, howl. Why do you think I'd want to do such a tedious job as being a warden? I just love seeing you high and mighty pricks wailing in pain under my whip. I almost forgot that there's a psychopath here. The former warden wasn't like this. This pervert was brought in by Long Xiaotian. Enjoying ourselves, are we? Why don't you give me another shot? It seems that our Master Xia's stubbornness is back. I didn't use my internal power before, but since you want to be whipped so badly, I'll let you have it this time. Have a taste of my snakebite whip. Supreme Impact of Zen. You went really hard with that whip of yours just now. If it were the original owner, you might have killed him with it. It's too bad that you came across this unreasonable Supreme Impact of Zen. That amount of power you hit me with is the amount that got returned to you. Plus, I still have the National Soul title on me, so the power of my defense skills are doubled. If you hadn't died, then who would? The original owner's martial arts are quite incredible. The Supreme Impact of Zen's magic doesn't lose out against the Heavenly Guards. Now let me have a look. System panel come out. This body already meets the requirements for the third layer of the acquired realm. Moreover, he also exceeded the level cap for the Supreme Impact of Zen. He's indeed worthy of being called one of the former overlords of this world. Since both the Supreme Impact of Zen and the Heavenly Guard are at level 6 and above the level cap, they should be roughly of equal level. Though one is better at reflection and the other at defense, it's hard to tell them apart. No wonder it took me 50 origin points to cross over. The level of power in this world isn't bad. Oh, I almost forgot, I didn't come here for this. No one comes to this hellhole except for the wardens, so while no one is bothering me, I should practice the ultimate demonic bliss technique. 6 hours later. What a strange martial art. The result of the combination of meditation and the circulation of energy wasn't innate energy, but rather some kind of mysterious power, and it feels like all the cells in my body have been tempered. Not only that, this tempering is irreversible. Skill Mastery, Ultimate Demonic Bliss. This skill is incomplete and cannot be upgraded further. I can't believe this. Even with the system, I can't practice it any higher? I can only practice it up to level 0? And there's no way for me to get rid of it. It's a good thing I decided to try it out in this world. As long as I give up on the quest and return back to the main world with nothing, then the ultimate demonic bliss will still be untrained. If I had practiced this back in the main world, I'd just be handing someone else a dagger to take me with. However, I still have a shot to salvage the situation, so there's no need to give up on the quest and return right away. After all, this world has the original owner's cheat, that jade necklace. The jade necklace can deduce martial arts, and although I don't know if it'll be useful for the martial arts in the main world, betting on it is my last hope. I have the impression that it'd take around 10 days to half a month for the jade necklace to deduce a martial art. I don't know what the quest is yet, but if I don't have enough time to bring anything back to the main world, then it'll be quite the bust. Speaking of quests, why hasn't the system issued one yet? Is it possible that there really is such a thing as free exploration? Worlds can complete. System fragments were found. Please go to collect them as soon as possible to upgrade the system and activate the next function. Issuing quest. Within 1 month, take revenge for the original owner, kill the cheating couple Long Xiaotian and Huan Nongyu, retrieve the jade necklace, and acquire a new system function. After the quest is completed, you can return with all the power you've gained in this world. Otherwise you'll get nothing. Acquire a new system function. So the jade necklace is a system fragment. I wonder what kind of function will be added to the system after the merging of this fragment. Will it also be an ability to diffuse and deduce martial arts too? Very well, it looks like I'll have to finish the quest this time. Let me get out of here first. The dungeon of the Taiji sect has a total of 18 floors, was established by the original owner, and holds an untold number of major demonic practitioners. The original owner had hoped that these demonic practitioners would forsake evil and return to the path of virtue, so that if one day they were released from prison, they'd benefit the world. However, never did he expect that he would be locked up here one day, on the 18th floor at the very bottom. I remember that there's one such practitioner named Wang Ding on the 17th floor of the dungeon, whose strength at his peak was similar to that of the original owner. His practice of the exceptional demonic body was in no way inferior to the supreme impact of Zen. When the original owner joined forces with Long Xiaotian, it took an entire day for them to defeat him and lock him up on the 17th floor of this dungeon. Now I'll send Long Xiaotian a nice gift with the help of Wang Ding. Senior Wang Ding, long time no see. It's you, Xie Yan. Are you here to humiliate me? I'm here to rescue you. Huh. My injuries, my martial arts, have been recovered by 80 to 90%. 5 years ago, you and Long Xiaotian teamed up to put me in this dungeon. But now you're letting me go, and why are you dressed like that? Senior Wang Ding, you've been imprisoned in this dark abyss for so long that you don't know that the outside world has gone through tremendous changes. Shortly after you were imprisoned, I didn't find out soon enough about Long Xiaotian and Hua Nongyu's plot against me, lost all my martial arts, and was subjected to all kinds of humiliation much like yourself. It wasn't until today that I got myself out of this predicament. How the hell could this have happened? I'm here to make amends to you. Please, Senior, join me in releasing the people in the dungeon, to wreak havoc in the Taiji sect and behead Long Xiaotian. All the people you have locked up in your dungeon are people who'd murder in cold blood, but you'd rather the Taiji sect, which you painstakingly established, be wiped out and all its disciples lying dead? In the last 5 years, Long Xiaotian has eradicated any dissidents and appointed people based on favoritism. The remaining disciples are all unscrupulous. The current Taiji sect is no different from a demonic sect, so what is there to part with? Fine, even though you put me in this dungeon, for better or worse, you treated me with respect and today you even rescued me. Let's let bygones be bygones and join hands to deal with Long Xiaotian for now. Xie Yan is as kind-hearted as ever. In other words, he's nothing but a fool. After I've used him to destroy the Taiji sect, I'll butcher him to get even. I admire Senior for his clear understanding of righteousness, and for his willingness to disregard past grudges. I'll let this old wretch go up first and get a gauge of Long Xiaotian's abilities. Before Wang Ding and myself, who had recovered their abilities, the heavily guarded 18-story dungeon easily fell without so much as a peep. I used the Finger of Nirvana to restore all the prisoners' abilities. It took me quite a bit of time and effort, but it's sure to cause no small amount of trouble for Long Xiaotian. Though some other people, led by Wang Ding, decided to kill their way through the Taiji sect to seek revenge on Long Xiaotian. Where did you go, Long Xiaotian? Your daddy is out of the slammer. Come out and face your death. If the sect master hadn't gone out, how would he get so full of himself? The sect master is back. The sect master is finally back. Wang Ding, how did you get out of the dungeon? You must have a death wish. You actually had the audacity to show up in front of me? Die. You're right on time. Eat this, demonic blaze palm. Boundless gold body. What kind of martial arts is this? Wang Ding, many things have happened during your time in prison. I'm not the same person I once was. Now die. Exceptional demonic body. Impossible. How could you break through my exceptional demonic body so easily? Xie Yan, Long Xiaotian's sword is bizarre. Let's fight him together. Xie Yan? Wasn't he the most kind-hearted of the righteous? He actually fooled me so he could escape? Xie Yan, you set me up. Xie Yan? Didn't all these guys get crippled when they were imprisoned? How could they have all regained their abilities and be brimming with power? Could it be this is Xie Yan's doing? Does that guy have other treasures besides the jade necklace? Give out my order, hunt Xie Yan down and kill him. Make sure to spread the word to every nook and cranny across the world. However, since you're no match for him, don't do anything reckless once you pick up his trace. I'll take care of him once I'm done at the Five Peaks Sword Summit. Fortunately, I sent that bird brain Wang Ding to test the waters. I can't beat Long Xiaotian with his demonic cultivation sword right now. If I remember correctly, the Five Peaks Sword Summit is the biggest martial arts event in this world. It appears Long Xiaotian wants to win the summit, so that he can awe the whole martial art world with his power. Being robbed of his cheat and cuckolded is really not something a man can tolerate. The day I've leveled up will be the very same day I'll take revenge on you for the original owner at the Five Peaks Sword Summit. By the time I finish the quest, you'll have given me a whole score of origin points. A few days later. Young Lord Xie, aren't you lonely sleeping alone every night? We're performers and don't sell our bodies, but if it were you, we'd... Ladies, don't push. I can't handle so many of you at once. Why are all the girls on his side so beautiful and that one's in ours like this? What the hell is his true identity for him to win the hearts of so many bealities? Young Lord Xie Miao is a genius. He can write poems and music. Yes, he can also choreograph, do makeup, has increased business in the Baiwa Pavilion several-fold in just a few days, and is now the dream sweetheart for all the girls in the city. Is he even human? The other four masters of the Five Peaks of Heaven and Earth have sent out word that they're waiting for Long Xiaotian to come to the Five Peaks Sword Summit in a few days. If he dares to show up, the four masters will join hands to slaughter their colleague regardless of their status. Another few days later. Recently, while I've been frequenting brothels to practice the Finger of Flowery Swords, I've also been sweeping the surrounding bandit gangs to harvest a generous amount of origin points. The Taiji sect's reckless search for my trail is tantamount to doing advertisement for me, and it allows me to get a steady stream of origin points. Though origin points are meant to be used, it's really such a waste to use them again to practice a martial art in this world when I've already practiced it in the main world. Skill Mastery, Heavenly Guard Level 6. Skill Mastery, Finger of Flowery Swords Level 2. It was relatively simple to reach the introductory level of the Heavenly Guard, and when I had enough origin points, I upgraded it above the level cap. In fact, its stronger defense wasn't the only thing it is better at. Its automatic defense is an ability which the Supreme Impact of Zen doesn't possess. But at the same time, practicing the Heavenly Guard and Supreme Impact of Zen didn't improve the nature of my strength in the slightest, because, although these two martial arts aren't incompatible with each other, they can't be used at the same time. If I want to add the ability to reflect an opponent's attacks to my invincibility, it will be impossible to accomplish it without fusing them with the Jade Necklace. In the end, I'll have to rely on the Finger of Flowery Swords to conquer this world. The most advanced skills in this world are all around the level of the Supreme Impact of Zen. No matter how strong Long Xiaotian's boundless gold body is, his cultivation would only reach about the 4th layer of the acquired realm back in the main world. The Finger of Flowery Swords is an innate skill of the main world, and is by far superior to all of the martial arts in this one. And even though I'm still at the 3rd layer of the acquired realm, I've already transformed my innate energy into the flowery kind. I'm convinced that even the Finger of Flowery Swords at level 2 will be unmatched in this world. The 5 Peaks Sword Summit is an event that takes place once every 10 years, where the world's top experts gather together. Although it is known as a summit, it is actually a martial arts competition. Ultimately, the 5 strongest will be chosen as the 5 peaks of heaven and earth, and the strongest among them will be known as the Emperor of the martial art world. The greatest expert in the whole world. The reason why it is called the 5 Peaks Sword Summit is because the summit is held on a peculiarly shaped mountain top. There was a time when this mountain was struck by lightning, and its top was carved into an odd shape, with an uncanny resemblance to 5 fingers, which just so happened to correspond to the 5 peaks of heaven and earth. After the summit, the chosen 5 top experts will stand on these 5 fingers and become the 5 wonders to be admired by all. The 5 peaks of heaven and earth were single-handedly killed by Long Xiaotian. Who else in the world can defeat him? From now on, who else will be able to go against the Taiji sect and Long Xiaotian? Henceforth, the martial art world will regard me as its master. Does anyone object? I object. Who's that? Sect Master of the Taiji sect. Xie Yan. Xie Yan, I'd ask you to watch your mouth. You're not the master of the Taiji sect anymore. The Taiji sect now belongs to Master Long. Long Xiaotian, I established the Taiji sect. When did it become yours? Since ancient times, the winner takes all, and since I've won, your treasures, your wife, and your sect, naturally all belong to me. Well said. Then if I kill you, won't the Taiji sect be mine again? Kill me? Then why don't you ask that to my demonic cultivation sword? In that case. As you wish. What kind of martial art is that? You can actually gather your energy to form a sword. It's the martial art that's going to be your death. You're full of yourself. That's nothing more than a fancy trick, and you want to use it to fight against my sword? Enough. Since you're seeking your own grave, I'm going to send you there. They're coming this way. Run for your lives. This is not the Supreme Impact of Zen. When did you learn this martial art? But it won't do you any good. Though I haven't the slightest idea what martial art it was you practiced, it appears to be better at defense than the Supreme Impact of Zen. However, my demonic cultivation sword can ignore your body protection essence. But you can't break through my boundless gold body. Xie Yan, your defeat is all but guaranteed. Oh, is it? Why don't you take a hard look at your sword before you speak? This is impossible. My Finger of Flowery Swords can cleave through iron as if it were butter, so the demonic cultivation sword is indeed worthy of being called a priceless overseas treasure for it to have held up this long. Shatter! I can't break through your boundless gold body. I was just giving my most sincere regards to your blood-sucking demonic sword. And your gold body, let me break it for you now to show how useless it truly is. It's no use, I'll just absorb your innate energy, making me even stronger. And here I'm always telling you people not to mouth off, you'll only get slapped in the face like this. No, this can't be. How could there be such a martial art in the world that could not only smash my demonic cultivation sword, but also go through my boundless gold body? He's actually running. Long Xiaotian, weren't you so proud of yourself before? What are you running for? I'm not dreaming, right? There's actually someone who can cleave through the 5 peaks? What are you waiting for? The 5 peaks are going down, run! He sure runs fast. But you're not going anywhere. Sword finger. I'd like to see you running away again. Xie Yan, you can't kill me. Everyone in the Taiji sect now are my subordinates. Once you kill me, it will fall apart in the turn of a hand. You don't want to see the Taiji sect gone with the wind, do you? As expected, in his heart, he still can't let go of the Taiji sect. Isn't it your greatest wish in life to make the Taiji sect the #1 sect in the world? You're naturally indecisive and not ruthless enough. Even if your opponent is the most malevolent devil imaginable, you're reluctant to kill them and instead lock them up in a dungeon hoping they'll turn over a new leaf. So many people in the martial arts world have praised you for your chivalrousness and righteousness, but such a character can't lead the Taiji sect to become the #1 in the world. You make a good point. But after I took over, the Taiji sect became decisive and merciless. One might ask, who in the martial arts world hadn't heard of its prowess? Who didn't fear the Taiji sect for its ferociousness? Now that I've cut down the 5 peaks of heaven and earth, the Taiji sect's majesty will be felt throughout the whole land, and it can already be called the #1 sect in the world. Isn't this what you've always wanted? Why? You do have a point, but what does that have to do with me killing you? Since time immemorial, the finest of jades are much like beauties, and should stay by the exalted gorgeous prince's side. You're too ugly to be the bearer of this jade necklace. System fragment found. Do you wish to merge it? Merge. The system fragment has been merged. System upgrade is complete. The current system level is level 2. The development function has been unlocked. So the unlocked system function after merging the jade necklace was the ability to deduce incomplete skills after all. But not only that, the ability to fuse skills is included too. The ultimate demonic bliss technique can be fixed. As expected, since both the Heavenly Guard and the Supreme Impact of Zen are defensive skills, they can be fused with each other. But the Finger of Flowery Swords and the Finger of Nirvana aren't compatible with any of the other skills. However, I don't have enough origin points to fuse them right now. And what's most important is to deduce the whole ultimate demonic bliss technique. Holy shit, 1,000 points? But, as long as I don't kill Huanong Yu, the quest won't be completed. I only have 10 days left at best, and judging by my current gathering speed of origin points, it will be awfully difficult to collect that many of them within the time limit. It looks like I have to run the original owner's sect properly. After killing Long Xiaotian, the Taiji sect didn't fall apart as Long Xiaotian thought, and his inner circle, like the opportunists they are, flocked towards me. But I didn't reinstate them and had them all killed, just as Long Xiaotian had said. The Taiji sect was filled with his cronies, every last one harboring evil intentions, so there was nothing to be gained by leaving them be. I'm now the head of the 5 peaks of heaven and earth, Xie Yan, the Sword Saint. Rebuilding the Taiji sect wouldn't be easy, but with a single summon, countless towering figures from all over the world came to join my sect. In just a few days, I rebuilt the Taiji sect and constantly sent my disciples out to purge evil, uphold justice, and spread the name of the Taiji sect and my own as its master. In addition to the earth-shattering battle I had at the 5 Peaks Sword Summit, some have even started to name me the best sword saint in history. My fame within the martial arts world is so resounding that I'm harvesting a considerable amount of origin points every day. The most unbearable thing for a man is to be cuckolded. But why didn't he kill me and instead put me under house arrest? Don't tell me, he still loves me, so he doesn't want to kill me? That must be it. We've been husband and wife for so many years. No one knows Xie Yan better than me. He's always been just a naive country boy who had never been with any other women. As soon as he first saw me he thought I was a goddess, lost his mind, and went head over heels in love with me. This is my chance. Honest men are the easiest to con, and when I do perhaps he will not only let me go but also take me back. Being the wife of the Sword Saint is not a bad proposition. Nong Yu. Xie Yan is coming. Nong Yu, I've come to see you. Nong Yu, you've always been so kind, so beautiful, so I never believed you joined forces with Long Xiaotian to harm me. Did he have something on you, to force you to cooperate with him? So he's still got feelings for me. Where's the bravest sword saint in history now? He's nothing but a little pup groveling before my charm. Xie Yan, stop deluding yourself. Long Xiaotian didn't have anything on me, he just made me want to follow in his lofty ambitions. Following him made me want to indulge in rapture, unlike a bumpkin like you, who has neither character nor passion. To deal with a bootlicker like this, one needs to be overbearing. This will inspire their sense of inferiority, and make them obey your every beck and call. Are you satisfied now? Why don't you just kill me so that I can go meet Long? No, you? How could you say such a thing? You know how much I love you. I'd never even harm a single strand of your hair. How could I ever kill you? You put me under house arrest, don't let me out, and you call this love? I'm sorry, known you. I was cleaning up Long Xiaotian's former followers. I was afraid you'd get hurt if you go out. If you're feeling bored, I'll tell them today to stop holding you here. You know very well that my martial arts are meager, but you want to let me out so those people outside can grab me and rape me? Xie Yan, do you enjoy that much when others encroach upon your wife? Right. Known you, it's my fault for not thinking about it. Known you, although we can't be a married couple anymore, I'm not going to stand by watching you getting taken advantage of. If you practice this martial art well, it won't take long for you to greatly increase your power and become a top-class expert in the martial arts world. Finger of the ultimate demonic blissful sword, why haven't I ever heard of it before? Could it be that this is the secret skill that not only allowed Xie Yan to regain his power, but also mastered the gathering of energy to form a sword? At first I was hoping Xie Yan would take me as his wife again, but I didn't expect that he wouldn't even catch the hint. Well, I suppose that with this amazing power, I can set up my own sect and won't have to live with this idiot anymore. You're still thinking of us as a couple. I told the guards to scram, known you can go out whenever you want. But you'd better not go out of the sect, it's a mess out there, I'm worried you'll meet some mishap. Xie Yan, I didn't imagine you'd be so affectionate towards me, I was wrong about you. You're a good man. And what good men like me particularly love is to watch some fireworks. Known you, enjoy the show. One night later. What an amazing martial art. After only half a day of practicing it, I feel as if I casted away my old self and was reborn anew. The results were instantaneous. It's just that, until now, I've only seen the cultivation method, but not Xie Yan's mysterious sword finger. It appears that he's still hiding something from me. But it doesn't matter, the instantaneous results of this martial art are enough for me to convince those experts who are second only to the Five Wonders. There's no martial artist in the world who doesn't want to get his hands on Xie Yan's sword techniques that exceeds all others, and there's no man who wouldn't want to indulge in a night of pleasant debauchery with me. Xie Yan, even if you're the greatest martial artist in the world, I don't believe you can withstand the siege of tens to hundreds of first-class experts. Mizu, Realist Sword Sect. Zhang Lingfan, Sect Master of the 24 Crests. Universal Helm. Qi Tian, the Heavenly Sword, the best swordsman just below the 5 peaks of heaven and earth. There's roughly 2 days left before the quest time limit is reached, and I've finally deduced the whole ultimate demonic bliss technique and upgraded it to the maximum. The ultimate demonic bliss technique cost me an insane amount of points to deduce but not that many to upgrade. I spent a total of 140 points to bring it to the same level as the Heavenly Guard. However, it's indeed a worthless skill, except for the ability to order fellow practitioners to blow themselves up. It actually didn't increase my combat power very much, nor did it advance my cultivation level. I've been sending people to keep a close eye on Huanongyue, and judging by the time, she must be arriving soon with a herd of livestock primed for slaughter. Sect Master, bad news, the Measureless Sword Sect, the 24 Crests, the Universal Helm, the Mountain Patron Sect and another 18 top-class sects as well as Qi Tian, CS Xiaoyu, Xiao Huahai and another 36 first-class experts have banded together to come and kill us. They're less than 3 miles away from our sect. Why are your panties in such a twist? Whatever will be next, they're nothing but a bunch of weaklings. I can exterminate them with a single snap of my fingers. Xie Yan, I heard you're known as the greatest swordsman of all time. Today I'm going to see whether you're worthy of such a title. Xie Yan, you actually had the guts to come out of your sect and face us head-on. Hand over the mysterious sword technique for gathering innate energy into a sword and we'll spare your life. Xie Yan, did you actually think if you let me go, I'd change my mind about you? You're so naive, you're just a simp. How could you ever be worthy of me? The more you love me, the more infatuated you get with me, the more disgusted I feel. Letting me go was the biggest mistake of your life. Now that there are so many people here, even if you're the greatest expert of all time, there's no way you won't die. Huanongyu, the naive one is you. Do you actually believe I let you go because I'm crazy about you? I let you go so I could get some more freebies before I left. I never thought you'd actually achieve this much. You really gave me quite the exceptional and wonderful surprise. What the hell are you talking about? This? What's happening to me? No. Ultimate demonic bliss, may hell be your afterlife. What the hell is going on? Why can't I control myself? Yen, what the fuck did you do? Blow, you ants! It's indeed worthy of being called the ultimate demonic bliss technique. Hundreds of people all exploded at the same time. What a spectacular sight. The user has completed the quest. The reward is 300 origin points. In 10 seconds, the user will be returned to the main world. Please make preparations. I'm back. This trip has finally eliminated the latent danger behind the ultimate demonic bliss technique, and allowed me to set off the Shuilu as a bunch of fireworks at any time. Not only that, with the system having its development function activated, I can fuse the Heavenly Guard and the Supreme Impact of Zen. I've finally done it. Now that I've got an armor that reflects damage automatically, my strength has no limit. The most annoying thing every time I level up is that I can't find an opponent to try it on. I still have to try it out indirectly like this. It just shot right through. Now, it's time to witness a miracle. Finger of flowery swords, bend as I please. Return. Reflect. Well, it looks like the reflection returned about 50% power. This guy is a huge letdown. If I come across an opponent at the 9th layer of the acquired realm, or even at the innate realm, how would it reflect anything but the minimum 30%? That's all there is to it. As long as I have the National Soul title, at least I have something for defense, and in concert with the ultimate demonic bliss technique over the level cap. Shuilu, here I come. I wouldn't have imagined there'd actually be such a cold pool concealed up on the Zongyue Mountains in the Jiangling region. It's so well hidden that if it weren't for the blissful temple providing intel, I'm afraid we wouldn't have found it. Are all hands accounted for? Reporting Commander. Wind 12, Thunder 8 and 17 haven't rejoined the unit. I told him the Shuilu was an utter joke, but the old fool wouldn't believe me. Just catching sight of guys as clueless as you makes me mad. Who's there? But enough with that, I'll just push myself a little bit more today to teach you losers a lesson in his stead. Where did you come from, punk? How dare you spout that bunch of nonsense here? Hey, isn't that guy the one they were offering a reward for? I presume Wind 12 got fascinated by his looks and was done in instead. No, Wind may 12th be a lek, but he'd never take his enemies lightly. Since he survived from Wind 12's hands, it appears he has some measure of strength. No matter what he did, before my 10 swords of prime annihilation, even an expert at the 9th layer of the acquired realm would surely die. Well said, then I'll have to trouble you to serve as a lesson for everyone else present. Ultimate demonic bliss, may hell be your afterlife. How can this guy use the ultimate demonic bliss technique? Not only that, his proficiency is even higher than mine. If he hadn't used it just now, I wouldn't have noticed it at all. Ultimate demonic bliss technique, how does this Yen know it? Is he an assassin of the Shuilu too? His proficiency is higher than all of ours. Could he be a heaven emblem commander from another region? I only intimidated the low-end wind and thunder emblems. The high-end combat forces of the Shuilu still maintained their composure. It seems the real Yen is long dead, Your Eminence. Which region are you in charge of? Could it be that you intend to go against the rules set in the longest bliss? This guy certainly knows something on how to keep those under his command from panicking. And what the hell is the longest bliss? I don't have enough information, so it seems I have to. The thought of the marching is as empty as a feeling, and of the longest bliss an endless joy. You don't deserve to know my real identity, however. I can tell you without a doubt that I don't have any interest in becoming a commander, and am currently a member of the marching sect. He says he's a member of the marching sect, so how can he know our ultimate demonic bliss technique at a level comparable to that of an heaven emblem? Wait a minute, I just remembered something. Rumor has it that although the founder of the Shuilu, the Elder of Bliss, originated from the Blissful Temple, he had quite the relationship with the previous sect master of the marching sect. Moreover, the Elder shouldn't have been on friendly terms with the Blissful Temple, otherwise he wouldn't have jumped ship and established his own organization. It's reasonable to guess that he's the illegitimate son of the Elder and the previous sect master of the marching sect. That being the case, he being the bearer of a demonic technique comparable to that of the longest bliss, and that he comes from the marching sect, wouldn't be that far-fetched. It's just that there are a lot of rumors concerning the Elder, that he came from the Blissful Temple, and that he was related to the sect master of the marching sect. But the elder has never acknowledged any one of those. Could such a series of events truly have occurred? After all this time, you must have figured it out, haven't you? But I couldn't care less if you did. There are some things that you can see through but not necessarily tell. What the hell is this guy talking about? I don't know, but by the look of him, it's obvious he's preparing something. What is this guy rambling on about? The more I watch, the more suspicious it gets. But it can't be fake that his proficiency in the ultimate demonic bliss technique is even higher than mine. Though I don't particularly dislike the name Xiaoyan, since you're all wondering how to address me other than that, then you might as well call me Earth Guardian. I'm finally seeing some emotion from the Earth emblems. They're obviously regarding me as the illegitimate son of that elder. But good old Mr. Heaven emblem is really something, he hasn't budged an inch. Since it is so, what advice have you come to impart us with, Earth Guardian? A great man must know when to yield. It's inadvisable to get to the bottom of this man's affairs. Besides, the rules of the Shiri Lu state that those whose proficiency of the ultimate demonic bliss technique is higher are in control of those whose is less. And I'm not one to go against them. So the young are worth teaching too. Now, we can get down to business. Business? Who's the person that the blissful temple is looking to kill in the marching sect? The target this time is the fourth elder of the marching sect, Wei Rideo. Fourth elder? Why her? The power of the elders of the marching sect is remarkable, with just you. You aren't aware. Because of the deficiencies in the techniques she practices, Wei Rideo has difficulty regulating her yin and yang, so every year at this time she goes to the cold pool not far ahead of us for 3 days to realign her body and mind. Due to this secret, she never brings anyone else and always goes there alone. Although she's an expert at the third layer of the innate realm, by mobilizing the whole Shiri Lu in the Jiangling region, there's a good chance that she'll be slaughtered as her inner energy is unstable. However, supposing the Earth Guardian wishes to safeguard this person, we'd have no intention of objecting. This guy seems to attach great importance to the marching sect, so if we cater to his interests. No, proceed with the assassination. Why is that? An assassination is an assassination, but for the specific details of its process, you'll have to follow my script. Who's there? Life is nothing more than a soul manipulating its body, and when the soul leaves it, the body that remains is no more than a puppet whose strings have been severed. The longest bliss has come. To collect the soul of the fourth elder Wei Rideo of the marching sect. Sightless fools! Since when did the Shiri Lu have the guts to go after an elder from one of the 9 great demonic sects? Impressive, a body filled from head to toe with scorching yang energy can seize the nature of the world, reverse yin and yang and use killing moves similar to those of the mysterious yin martial art. The scorching crimson purple technique is indeed powerful. What a shame that your martial art is flawed. The more scorching yang energy you accumulate in your body, the more you have to rely on the cold pool to purge its intense heat every year. Otherwise, your yin and yang would be out of balance, and you'd be driven mad. Your internal energy is unstable, and you just killed those 2 to assert your power, so how much more of it can you wield now? In that case, you can give it a try. Kill her. The ones who I sent are all Earth Emblem experts. And with your internal energy being unstable, if you recklessly go for the kill, you'll surely die, but in the face of such an encirclement, if you don't do anything, your fate will be the same. Who the hell hired you to kill me? You're a clever woman. You should know who wants you dead. I can't help but sob at the thought that a third-layer innate realm expert will fall today. On your journey to hell, think carefully about who it was you've displeased. How dare you? What kind of dog has the audacity to hurt an elder of the marching sect? Fourth elder, don't be alarmed. For Xia Yan, the most distinguished and proud personal servant of the matriarch of the marching sect, is here. Oh, I can't believe you still had reinforcements. But he alone wants to take away the longest bliss prey? I only have one word to describe this: arrogance. Ha ha. You can't even get me to move a single step. You're all truly insignificant. Divine impact of Zen. Excellent, though it's an act, and these guys won't dare to give it their all. I can withstand the siege of this many people just by standing still, making it quite the bluff all the same. Now, it's possible to harvest some reverence from the low-level assassins. Unfortunately, the mood of the Earth Emblems is still relatively stable. Isn't that skill the Heavenly Guard? But I've never heard of anyone who can manifest 6 heavenly gates. And what about the Zen formation under his feet? Don't tell me this person. You're that Xia Yan? The very same. I've come to rescue you on the orders of the matriarch. She will be here at the head of a band of disciples soon. With such a dashing and heroic rescue, how could I not harvest a heap of appreciation? That's odd, how come I don't see the fourth elder's name at all? What should we do now, Commander? It's inadvisable to stick in someone else's backyard for too long. Withdraw. That was close, it should be safe for now. There's no way there's any reinforcements from the sect. You were merely bluffing with those assassins. What the hell is your purpose? Miss Wei, please let go of your hand. I'm on your side. On my side? I've always been at odds with you, Hong Yan. You're her trusted follower. Why would you come to rescue me? Besides, how did you even know I was here? Actually, I came to the Jiangling region to practice my martial arts, but I never thought I'd be set upon by assassins along the way. Fortunately, I've mastered my skills and killed the opponents. Then I interrogated an assassin from that organization and found out that they were plotting to kill Miss Wei. In fact, I intended to mind my own business at the outset. After all, in the face of so many bad guys, I wasn't quite sure how I'd save you, but when I thought that the one who'd be under siege was you, You just what? I just picked up the courage at once. While serving the matriarch, I often heard her praise you in private, regretting that you weren't on her side. Just thinking about it, I couldn't just stand by and watch. So that's how Hong Yan has viewed me all along. Now that I think about it, I should go back to the sect soon. That's right, Miss Wei, let's go. We need to watch out for the return of the Shui Lu. Impudent, how dare you? Miss Wei, desperate times call for desperate means. Now that you're wounded, let me take you in my arms as we flee. That's really strange. This operation is running so smoothly, so how come there's no origin points stemming from anger, joy, and such? Is the fourth elder's state of mind too mild? Marching sect, matriarch's residence. Matriarch, I'm back, and I brought you a guest. Guest? Hong Yan, long time no see. Rodeo? One stick of incense later. And then that commander of the Shui Lu unsheathed his sword and shouted, "Kill her!" barely after I had seen him pointing his sword at me. 32 assassins of the Shui Lu swarmed in battle formation, with all kinds of swords, spears, halberds, axes, hatchets, and pitchforks in their hands. 18 kinds of weapons in all came to greet me and the fourth elder. But I, Xie Yan, am not one to be trifled with. Thus I bravely stepped forward, and with the heavenly guard at full power, immediately erected an impregnable fortress in front of the fourth elder. And for a spell, I only heard banging and humming until all the weapons that came at us broke apart. Not a single one of the 32 assassins had forced me to move a single step. But there was still that innate realm commander of the Shui Lu left. He was indeed worthy of full praise. As one would expect from an innate realm expert, his swordsmanship was swift and fierce, and his sword overflowing with might. From his sword alone, it was possible to glean how many powerful a foe he had slain. What a shame he came across me, and against my airtight defense, could only look on helplessly, as his sword crumbled in his hand, not able to come even one step closer, seeing the assassination attempt thwarted. And afraid of the reinforcements, as I called them, the assassins of the Shui Lu, could only leave in hatred. But even though I, Xie Yan, am extraordinarily brave, I couldn't thoroughly protect the fourth elder in the face of so many people, so I had no other choice but to con them. These are basically the specifics of how I was set upon by the assassins of the Shui Lu, killed them in turn, interrogated them to find out the mastermind was the Blissful Temple, and followed the clues to go save the fourth elder. Rodeo, is all of what Xie Yan said true? Xie Yan, your exaggerations are full of bull. But apart from the undue exaggeration of the course of events, the outcome is largely true. The fourth elder is really clear-minded, all this momentum, and she remains unfazed. I risked my hide taking a thrashing by blowing the tail out of proportion, and I didn't get any freebies out of her? Instead, the matriarch is the one giving me some sporadically. Xie Yan, I actually have to thank you this time. Otherwise, the Mo Qing sect would have lost one of its pillars. This was all thanks to the matriarch. This event was an alarming thrill indeed, but I kept chanting your name in my heart, as if I had God aiding me the whole way. You're nothing but talk, but looking at you right now, you must have surely learned that martial art, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to fight off the assassins of the Shui Lu. Hee hee. Rodeo, there's something really fishy about the Blissful Temple hiring assassins to assassinate you. You're right. It's very strange that the assassins knew to ambush me at the cold pool. The scorching crimson purple technique is a special skill that has been improved by the combination of the demonic mantra for yin and the maiden's scripture, and for which I need the cold pool to balance my yin and yang every year. It's my greatest weakness, and I've always been meticulous, never letting anyone know about it. Whether it's the Blissful Temple or the Shui Lu, it's impossible to find anything about it under normal circumstances. The only people who could possibly know this secret are you and the Great Elder. After all, the scorching crimson purple technique was created with your help in the first place. However, I'm sure it wasn't you who did it, so the only one who would give away my secret to the Blissful Temple would be the Great Elder. But there are no grudges between me and the Great Elder, so I can't think why she would do such a thing. In my opinion, it was the Great Elder who did it. Xia Yan. If my guess is correct, even without my intervention, the fourth elder wouldn't have died, but would definitely have been seriously injured. The then seriously injured fourth elder would have only placed her suspicions on the matriarch and the Great Elder. Given the relationship between the fourth elder and the matriarch prior to this incident, the first thing she would most likely do would be to contact the Great Elder, who I believe would definitely put the blame on the matriarch. After this battle, the fourth elder would completely flock towards the Great Elder's side and hate the matriarch to the core. In these cases, whoever ends up benefiting the most is the most likely suspect. Therefore, it could only have been the Great Elder. That's just your speculation, there's no conclusive evidence. Matriarch, we're a demonic sect, you know, what more evidence do you need? Just arrest them, force them to confess, and we're done. Xia Yan, things aren't as simple as you think. The Maching sect has fallen into decline because of internal discord. If internal strife causes it to deteriorate further, it's likely that others will get a chance to step in and damage our ancestors' heritage. Indeed, going off the deep end would make all elders feel endangered. I'm afraid, then even the three elders who've always remained neutral would side with the Great Elder for their own protection. If there's a conflict at that time, the elders would lead their disciples on a full-scale war, and no matter what the outcome, the Maching sect would greatly lose its power. But this time, the Great Elder's crime is to conspire with an outside foe, to collide with the Blissful Temple, and murder the other elders of the sect. As long as there's some plausible evidence, and the fourth elder, who's on bad terms with the matriarch, acts as a victim and testifies personally, then the verdict will be sealed. The Great Elder could only be identified as a traitor to the sect, publicly condemned. Even the second elder would no longer cling to her. Of course, this kind of evidence can't be produced in private. Otherwise it would be too easy for people to testify against it. The most appropriate time is next month's general meeting, when the four elders all return to the sect and all disciples are present. Won't that require evidence all the same? Matriarch, I'm speaking of plausible evidence. As long as the Great Elder is in her right mind, it will be basically impossible for us to find any firm evidence. If she casually sent an anonymous letter to the Blissful Temple, leaking the information about the fourth elder, who could catch her in the act? Even the Blissful Temple wouldn't necessarily know that it was the Great Elder's doing. It would be best if we had conclusive evidence. But if not, it doesn't matter. As long as it's plausible, we can temporarily fool those watching. As for how we'll get this plausible evidence, once we take up the matter with the four elders, we'll be sure to get it. If I step in personally, I'm sure there's some certainty. Since no one in the sect knows about my secret return to meet you, Wuling Xian will naturally think that I'm still at odds with you. So it shouldn't be difficult to find some dirt on her if I approach her on my own volition. That's true. However, even with all this, how can you guarantee that the sect meeting won't get out of hand and turn into a melee between the different factions? That won't happen. Even in the worst-case scenario, the initiative is in your hands, you know. If worst comes to worst, you can just let the Great Elder off by saying this evidence doesn't appear to convince the public. The interests of the sect should be put above all else, and the elder won't be dealt with for the time being. If all goes well and you two join forces to subdue the Great Elder, as long as you don't kill her on the spot, and there's a pretext in front of you, I believe that no one, no matter if it's the other two elders or the Great Elder's people, will come out to stop it. Once the Great Elder is imprisoned, her people will be left without a leader. Naturally everything will come to a rest, and there will be no way for the sect to plunge into chaos. Han Yen, you got yourself a really good personal servant. This all made me feel a little bit excited. I'm flattered. I still haven't received any origin points, even after all that lip service. Han Yen, I'm leaving now. We'll discuss it again in 10 days. If you need to contact me urgently, just use the ice hairpin as a message and meet me at the back of the Si-Yun cliff. Take care of yourself. Xia Yan, have you thought about it? What if we have wrongly accused the Great Elder? To resist foreign aggression, we must first get rid of the enemy within. The Great Elder has to be a traitor. There's no other way around it. I can barely tell your age, with you being this cunning. I'm known for being an honest and trustworthy gentleman. Where could this scheming individual possibly be? All right, don't give me that sarcasm. I'll give you an assignment. Whether or not the Great Elder is up to mischief from behind the scenes, it's absolutely certain that the Blissful Temple will get involved, so we have no choice but to be on our guard. Use the Matching Arcane Command token to withdraw 200,000 taels from my treasury, and hire the Shui Lu to deal with the Blissful Temple instead. Even if we can't get them to turncoat, at least it would buy us some time. The commissioning point for the Shui Lu in the Jiangling region is their stronghold at the Jinwan gambling house in the town of Xilin. Go down the mountain with Xinxi, and let her be your guard. Don't worry, Sisu, I won't fail my task. What's the point of hiring the Shui Lu? Shouldn't I just pocket the 200,000 taels? My oh my, let me leave it at that. I shouldn't get greedy with the matriarch's money. Maching sect, Qin Xinxi's residence. My lady, what are you thinking about? You look deep in thought. I just was wondering what kind of ploy my good husband used to make my master look at him in a favorable light, not only by not charging him with trespassing on the ancestral shrine, but by taking him on as a personal servant. As for the castration, it's extremely likely that it was just an excuse she found for Xia Yan to get away with it. Could it be because of his beautiful body? What rubbish are you talking about? How could my master be so shallow? Not only that, Xia Yan's progress in martial arts is way too fast. Is it because of his virtuous body? Is it really just because of his talent in martial arts that my master took a fancy to him? Didn't that Shuriener go around saying that Xia Yan had a fingering technique that could heal injuries and restore innate energy? Is it possible that the matriarch is interested in Xia Yan's ability to heal wounds? I heard that the matriarch has completely recovered from her internal injuries recently, and is now becoming more and more conspicuous. Maybe this is Xia Yan's doing? Perhaps there must be something else about Xia Yan I'm not aware of. My lady, I've come to see you, and while I'm at it, I'll tell you about a fine thing indeed. My lady, he's coming for you. This punk has been a completely different person ever since that day. He's got nothing but evil schemes up his sleeve. Last time, he used you to do all sorts of things. It's definitely not going to be anything good this time either. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what kind of fine thing indeed my dear husband has brought to me this time. My lady, you haven't seen me for so long. Did you miss me a lot? My dear, you have been away for a few days, so of course I missed you a lot. I wonder what good thing you're here to talk about. My lady, are you interested in going down the hill with me and blow some cash on dice? Eh? Senior, I want to go too. Go have fun somewhere else. Don't interfere with my and my lady's honeymoon. 2 days later, town of Xilin. So your so-called fine thing indeed was to get me to be your guard when going down the mountain? My lady, don't say that. Although it was to be on guard against the Great Elder sending someone to target us, the fact is when a couple is traveling together, they're actually going on a sightseeing tour. Look at these mountains. Look at this water. Look at these boobs. My dear, if you want to look at them, you're free to do so when we're back. But for now, could you not forget what we're here for? Of course I won't. Come on, let's go to the Jinwan gambling house. The Jinwan gambling house in the town of Xilin is one of the Shui Lu's secret liaison points, and also where it receives its commissions. As long as you say the secret code word to a worker at the gambling house, you'll be able to enter the secret underground chamber, and offer a reward for a commission. It's just that. Place your bets. All in on small. I didn't think Qin Xinxi would be such a good gambler. She obviously knows she's on an assignment, and in someone else's territory. But she actually wants to gamble around before moving on. Score. 1, 2, 3, 6 points, small. Who the hell is that? She's won 16 games in a row already, and she's got a very handsome young man with her. Whose family's son is he, exactly? It's really not bad to make some money and get some origin points while you're at it. Let her be, there's no real danger anyway. However, Qin Xinxi's ability at hearing the dice is too high, isn't it? She hasn't lost a single time throughout the whole game. There's nothing to win here anymore, let's switch tables. My lady, isn't it a bit too dull if you keep winning all the time? Isn't winning what gambling is all about? There's nothing wrong with striving to win when it matters. But now, since it's for entertainment, of course you'd want to have some fun, like for instance. Place your bets. Oh no, I couldn't hear the dice just now. You. Say, my lady, why do you have to force yourself to be unhappy all the time? Sometimes it's fun to just relax, let your luck do the talking and enjoy the intense thrill of uncertainty. Don't we just have to win? 5, 5, 6, 16 points, big. The girl has won again, isn't that amazing? Bring it on. No more gambling for me. Exchange all this for silver banknotes. You two, don't leave just yet. They're here as expected. I guess it's time to get down to business. Life is nothing more than a soul manipulating its body, and when the soul leaves it, the body that remains is no more than a puppet whose strings have been severed. I'm really sorry for my rudeness. It hadn't occurred to me that we'd have such an interesting guest. Please come with me, you two. The Shui Lu is a neutral assassin organization that will do its job once paid. It wouldn't be too much to say that this quest is in the bag. It was with this in mind that the matriarch was comfortable enough to allow Qin Shixi and I to come over here. But how could I come all the way out here just to place a mediocre assignment to kill 1 or 2 people and be done with it? Why not spend the same amount of money to kill twice or thrice as many people? Fine guests, it's just past this door. As for Qin Shixi, just stay and watch me act like a smart ass. Wait a minute, we have a long list to go through for our several 100,000 taels commission, and time is of the essence. Please go ahead and report our arrival so we can speak directly to the one who calls the shots. What does Qin Shixi want to do? Then please wait here for a moment. Xie Yan, listen, don't let them see through you. I'm using the secret technique of the heartbeat to send you a message. Even though I have this trip completely under control, we mustn't get blinded by the sight of victory and always consider what could go wrong. We have to always prepare for the worst. I've already figured out the terrain here. And if things go badly, I'll smash this gambling house to bits while you take the opportunity to escape to the southeast, the best direction to flee for your life. So Qin Shixi wasn't just having a good time gambling, but also secretly observing the topography of the gambling house. You're actually quite prudent. It's too bad that you didn't realize that the assassins of the Shui Lu are already in the palm of my hand. Please come in, you two. My lord is waiting for you inside. I'm Heaven Emblem number 3, the leader of the Shui Lu in the Jiangling region. I've long been waiting for our 2 honored guests. You two must be from the Maching sect. You really have guts, knowing full well that we recently attacked your 4th elder. You actually only sent 2 people to come here. The Earth Guardian must intend for me to cow this woman into submission. 3rd Heaven Emblem is actually quite good at catching my cues. First, scare Qin Shixi, and then I'll come on stage to remedy the situation. We're here to talk business, not to take revenge. Moreover, when an enemy uses a sword to kill someone, it is the enemy who holds the resentment, not the sword. An assassin is but a tool, and the one who we have a grudge against is the blissful temple who employed you. Qin Shixi, you stole my lines. Blissful temple? And who exactly told you it was them who hired us? We have our sources, so will you do business with us or not? Of course. How could we not? Whose head have you two come here for today, and how much are you willing to pay for it? Just follow the rules and write it on this cloth. Qin Shixi is going to turn everything upside down. This is a stage I set up. Keep cowing her into submission, is it? Using one's internal power to control energy, harness the wind and fetch things. That's something only an innate expert can accomplish. Is he trying to frighten me? Humph. My guest. You must have written this wrong, right? It appears that my convenient way of writing has caused you some misunderstanding. It seems I need to use a bigger cloth, and a lot more ink, so that you can have a good look. The target for our commission is one of the 9 great demonic sects in the Han Empire, the Blissful Temple, and not just one of them, but all of them. To this, we're willing to make an offer of 200,000 taels. Are you going to take this deal? Or not? Has Qin Shixi gone mad? The whole Blissful Temple sect for only 200,000 taels? Does she take the Shui Lu for a bunch of idiots? Let me see what you're up to. What the hell is wrong with this woman? 200,000 taels for the lives of the whole sect? How could she actually utter that nonsense? I never would have anticipated you two to come up with such an unimaginably astonishing proposal. I really have to admire this calmness, this courage. Let's avoid wasting time with jokes and get down to business. You think I'm joking? You weren't joking? So embarrassing. Heaven 3 is probably raging curses at her in his mind right now. I won't make a sound. I'd like to see how Qin Shixi is going to play this one out. This proposal of mine is perfectly reasonable and isn't just wishful thinking. You think it's a joke, but you just can't make sense of any of it. Oh, where in the world does it make sense to buy the lives of this entire sect for only 200,000 taels? Then I'm left with no other choice but to cock my ears and listen. It's actually quite simple. Whoever said an assassin must kill their target? And whoever said that we're here to hire you to kill someone? Now that I've put it like this, do you understand? So that's what this was all about. An assassin's job is to kill their target, a concept that's deeply ingrained in all people. But in reality, assassins are people who do things for money. They're just better at killing. Theoretically, you can hire assassins for anything, even as bodyguards. So that's what you were planning. So what exactly is the goal you're planning for the whole sect? Even if it's just surveillance, 200,000 taels won't be enough. I need you to keep the people in the blissful temple filled with an intense sense of I could be killed at any moment. Before the end of the marching sect meeting, it's imperative that no one in the blissful temple will be able to sleep or eat in peace. Not even the very fowls and dogs are to be left undisturbed. As for how to fill the target with fear, I'm sure pros such as yourselves have plenty of means. For this 200,000. If you do well, none of you will have to kill. I don't think you'll lose anything out of this deal. However, if you want to frighten the sect master of the blissful temple, Dang Hongshan, I'm afraid this silver is not enough. It doesn't matter, as long as you can put the majority of the sect into chaos, it's enough. The deal is indeed profitable, but it will still take up a lot of time, effort, and people to complete. To be honest, I actually want to refuse. But since the Earth Guardian is here, let me see his view. At first, I wanted to use the 200,000 taels to buy the heads of 2 or 3 elder-level people from the blissful temple, but I didn't think there would be such a way to handle it. No more games, let's agree. Qin Xinxi's idea is better than mine. This Xue Lu will take your commission. Good, you seem like a smart man. They actually took it? I was thinking they'd ask for an exorbitant price and then we'd end up haggling. But in spite of everything, the Xue Lu took it just like that. Qin Xinxi is a girl who reached the 9th layer of the acquired realm, is the direct disciple of the matriarch, and she even has some skills indeed. Everyone else got to act like a prick, but I didn't get to do anything. Before long, stories like this began to circulate throughout the land. That the Xue Lu, accepting a commission from an unknown party, came swarming in full strength to assassinate the disciples of the blissful temple. Whether it's when they're eating, bathing, sleeping, or even taking a dump, there's always the possibility of being killed by assassins at any moment, and almost every disciple of the blissful temple feels vulnerable outside. The people of the land suspect that the ones behind this commission must be the archenemies of the blissful temple, the marching sect. All I can say to that is, what do the assassins of the Xue Lu have to do with the marching sect? Sis you, that's roughly how it happened. It isn't too much to say that it is all thanks to Xinxi that blissful temple shouldn't have the inclination to find trouble with the marching sect for a short while. To make absolutely sure that nothing goes wrong, Xinxi decided to take matters into her own hands and work with the assassins of the Xue Lu to enforce a sense of pressure with a few assassinations, so it will be a while before she returns. Why don't you brag about your credit this time? I'd like to hear more on how you kicked up such a huge fuss. You must be joking, sis you. I, Xie Yan, always only say what I did. I would never take credit for someone else's work. All right, don't flatter yourself, just keep on babbling. Beware of the 4th elder, who lurks outside the window, eavesdropping in the cold dead of night, or frostbite you might catch. Han Yan, aren't you afraid I'll disturb you? Who knows what will happen if you and your precious Xie Yan are overcome by a sudden impulse, and it turns into the wonderful situation where he takes on the burden for what must be done. The 4th elder always pops up out of nowhere. If the matriarch hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have found that she was eavesdropping at all. Don't be ridiculous, Rodeo. Did you come here because you made some progress? After departing here that day, I immediately made an appointment with Wu Lingxian. I said pretty much the same thing as in our previous discussion, but concealed the fact that I had previously met you both. Her tone of speech was really strict, and she was utterly shocked by my attempted assassination when we first met. Then, with a look of concern, she inquired how I had safely gotten away. I was worried that she got the information from the Xue Lu, so I didn't hide the fact that Xie Yan saved me. In that case, how did you explain the rest? Based on facts, of course, that you and I have never gotten along. Everyone in the sect knows that, and as for Xie Yan, that I could never trust an oily-tongued, slick and flashy man like that, who fancies anyone no matter their age. 4th elder, you're falsely accusing me. In the sect, my conduct is very proper. To put it briefly, Wu Lingxian believed my words. Having dispelled her suspicions, I got right to the point and declared that only 2 people could have been behind this, the matriarch, or her. As a result, Wu Lingxian's response was unsurprising. First, she swore she wasn't the one who did it, and then she asserted it must have been you who was rooting out dissidents. I appeased her by saying that I had come to her secretly because I also thought that you were the one who did it. The Great Elder took the bait, and earnestly made it clear that she wanted to join hands with me to deal with you. I even pretended to agree, and then said that you have completely recovered from your injuries, and that your reputation in the sect has been growing lately, so even if I joined forces with her, it would be difficult to win. And there was no evidence that you hired the Shiri Lu to assassinate me, so we still needed to find another way to bring you down. By the way, Hong Yan, to avoid divulging my true intentions, I said a lot of bad things about you in front of Wu Lingxian. You don't blame me for this, do you? You were trying to win over Wu Lingxian's trust. How could I ever blame you? That's odd. Why did it suddenly feel like I couldn't butt in into the conversation between these two women? Fourth Elder, what happened after that? Did Wu Lingxian reveal anything? She was very tight-lipped, and after several attempts she didn't go into any details, but said she had a brilliant plan up her sleeve. Finally, I made a risky move asking her directly if she was going to draw in support from the Blissful Temple. Although she immediately denied it, I noticed that her expression was unnatural during that split second. It was obvious that she was plotting something in secret, but felt unease for having it nailed to her face. Fourth Elder, why are you heaving a sigh? Although I had long expected it, there were still some stray thoughts running through my mind, hoping that everything was just a misunderstanding. Fourth Elder, since it has been established that the Great Elder is indeed colluding with an outside enemy, then our motion to deal with her is all the more justified. Treat your friends kindly and your foes with an iron fist. Right, I'm getting a little too emotional. Hong Yan, I came here to tell you that Wu Lingxian has indeed been collaborating with the Blissful Temple. Next, I'll find a way to collect some evidence and bring it back. Rodeo, I'll entrust this to you. Take care of yourself. Hong Yan, don't worry. Even though I had some friendship with Wu Lingxian in the past, I will never go soft in the face of what is right and wrong. Fourth Elder, let me see you off. I have something important to tell you. All right, haven't we walked far enough? What is it you have to tell me that you had to hide from Hong Yan? Fourth Elder, this is a matter of great importance involving me, the matriarch, and you. Please stand here and wait. Don't leave by any means. I'll show you that important thing immediately. What exactly is this matter of great importance? The day I first met you in the cold pond, I couldn't think of water, I couldn't think of food, all I could think of was your figure. Even though I'm the matriarch's personal servant, I perished the thought of strangling my own heart. Fourth Elder, no, Rodeo. I love you. The moon shines brightly, only here can I have such a heartfelt discussion with you. Xia Yan, did I hear what you said wrong? What's the harm in saying it thousands of times as long as you can understand my heart? Rodeo, I love. How dare you, Xia Yan, I thought you were quite the capable individual, but I never could have imagined that you'd actually have such a degenerate conduct. Seeing as you saved my life, I won't tell Hong Yan about this. Behave yourself. Rodeo. With all the previous flirting, the Fourth Elder looked very offended by my blunt confession. Isn't it a bit too odd that I can't get any origin points out of her? Wait a minute, why did Shin Shinsi suddenly appear out of nowhere? Not only that, a value that can only be harvested in someone's presence. Don't tell me that. My lady, why are you back so early? Why didn't you say hi when you returned? Isn't it natural I miss you, my dear, so I rush back day and night to see you? As for you, my dear, the Fourth Elder may look kind, but her way of dealing with skirt chasers is much more ruthless than those of ordinary people in the marching sect, so you'd best be careful not to get your fingers burnt, and, if Master knew what happened just now. You must be joking, my lady. The matriarch is very busy with other affairs, so don't tell her about this, okay? Dear Lord, if sis you thought I fell in love with the Fourth Elder at first sight, knowing her temperament, I'm afraid there would be no way she wouldn't look for an opportunity to bring us together. Just kidding, I'll cover this up for you, but in exchange, you'll have to do one thing for me after we've disposed of the traitors in the sect. Sure. Then I'll go pay a visit to my master and report on my achievements these days. My God, this whole I promised to do this and this after that, and that was just like the frickin' lines of a major flag. A few days later. Recently, the matriarch has been busy with dealing with the Great Elder to give the Fourth Elder some room to investigate, and I've had a few rare days to myself. Just in time for me to study new moves for the Finger of Flowery Swords. The original idea I had with this move was to launch a tiny amount of flowery energy into an opponent's body, and then use the characteristics of the bend and turn it as one pleases to control the sword energy to make them explode. This way, I can directly seriously injure the enemy's insides using the least amount of innate energy, and produce the most lethal results. But now that I look at it, the results aren't very promising at all. The sword energy isn't even strong enough to penetrate a stone, much less a martial artist whose body is as strong as iron. And even if it went in, I can't make the sword energy burst out, making its killing capability too weak. Don't waste your time, young man. You're not going to get anywhere trying it casually like that. Who is it? Your idea is pretty good, but unfortunately you're going about it wrong. If you want to get the sword energy to enter a body and blow it to smithereens, the key is the word blow, rather than brute forcing it with the bend and turn it as one pleases train of thought. What you're doing now is putting the cart before the horse. The Inheritance Elder who guards the Sutra Pavilion? I've heard someone saying before that the Inheritance Elder has special standing, and he seems to know quite a lot about the Finger of Flowery Swords. If I can get on friendly terms with him, it will definitely be of great benefit to me in the future. Senior, you seem to have studied the Finger of Flowery Swords as well? Let me try to get acquainted first. If I get along with him well, I might even be able to get into the Sutra Pavilion and secretly record a few skills with the system later. I can't say I've studied the Finger of Flowery Swords. I only know a few things. Elder. That expression, there must be a story. What are you doing? Although I've dutifully practiced the Finger of Flowery Swords, I'm worried about the complex and volatile situation in the sect. I want to improve my strength quickly to share the burdens and resolve this crisis plaguing the matriarch, but I fall short in actual combat training. Senior, today, I see that you know a lot about the Finger of Flowery Swords. I greatly admire you. If you're not adverse to it, please guide me. I can't guide you with the Finger of Flowery Swords. I think you're practicing pretty well. Just change your train of thought. Is that so? However, since you've been able to enter the marching sect and practice the Finger of Flowery Swords, it must be more or less fate that brought us together. It wouldn't hurt to point you in the right direction. What did I say? According to novel convention, it's certainly complicated to guard the Sutra Pavilion. But you must remember, never trust a woman. The prettier the woman, the more deceitful she is. You must have definitely had quite the adventure when you were young. So there you are, Xia Yan. Qin Qinxi has come to see me. It seems there's something important. Elder, it seems that I have to go now. Huh, where did he go? My dear, who were you talking to just now? Nothing much. I was just having a little chat with the Inheritance Elder. By the way, my lady, is it possible that the Inheritance Elder is afraid of women? Why did he vanish as soon as he saw you? I've never heard of such a thing. Anyway, Master has ordered you and I to go meet her at once. Understood, let's get going. Good to see you, Matriarch. Greetings, Master. Why did they catch someone? Look at how roughed up she is. Matriarch, who is this Taoist nun? I'll do the talking. I have been secretly tracking Wu Lingxian these past couple of days. Finally, last night, I found her sneaking out of the mountain to meet this nun. When Wu Lingxian left, I grabbed her and sealed all the meridians in her body. What's your purpose in catching me and casually calling me someone from the Blissful Temple? I'll never give in. We have obtained a witness on how the Great Elder has been meeting with outside foes. Now the key is how to pry more information out of her. That's what I called you here for. This person looks very familiar. I remember, at the last boat festival, this woman was standing beside the master of Yinyu County Hall. She must be from the Blissful Temple. I recognize her too. She's Bai Yuyan, the personal servant girl of Bai Suyuan, Elder of the Blissful Temple, Master of Yinyu County Hall. We all know her identity, but we must ask her to cooperate of her own accord, otherwise the follow-up will be very troublesome. Miss Matriarch, leave this to me. My lady, do me a favor, help me get ready. Didn't you hear what Master said? She's a tough nut to crack, she won't say anything. Oh, I enjoy cracking the hard nuts the most. Honyen, there's really no need to bother with that. If you use the ultimate demonic bewitchment of worldly desires to make this guy have a real taste of what it's like to neither live nor die, she'll most assuredly confess. There's no harm in letting Xia Yan try. If he can't, I'll do it myself. Oh, what's this? You want to play the card of using a pretty boy to ensnare me? Bring it on. Even if you call 100 or even 1,000 men, I'll take them all. I'd expect nothing less from a woman of the Blissful Temple. Obtaining the 1,000 Manslayer title is a piece of cake for you. However, I don't need so many people to deal with you. I alone am enough. Since you're acquainted with the Third Elder, you must know that it's not a rumor that a good deal of the beauties in the I Ching establishment became more beautiful overnight, right? Why are you bringing this up? Did you know there's a wonderful skill in this world called the finger of face modeling? The finger of face modeling has no destructive power, but it has a rejuvenating effect that people around the world can only dream of. With the flick of a finger, even the most ordinary of women can be transformed into an exceptional beauty defying all comparison. So the one that really did those things was you. You guessed it, I rather enjoy your cleverness, so as a reward, I'll put your lovely oval face aside for later. What are you going to do to me? Look at these wonderful luminous eyes. With a few little changes, you'll have a big and a small one, a straight and a crooked one. One will be just like a dead fish, and the other cockeyed. Now look at this modest nose. If I can turn these rhythmical lips and downs into a plain, or a ravine, it will surely unfold into something magnificent. You bastard! I almost forgot about your lovely little mouth, so why don't I just widen it a little bit, until your lips are as thick as your intestines and as plump as a full moon, so that you can have the fortune of being able to fit a whole lot of stuff into your mouth at once. After adjusting your face, I'll sew hundreds of thousands of banners for you. With the words by Yu Yen, a woman whose beauty puts flowers to shame, outshines the moon and can cause the downfall of a state written on them. At that time, I'll escort you and parade a banner through the downtown streets of the Han Empire, so that the common people of the empire can catch a glance of your graceful bearing. This Ye Yen, even though Bai Yu Yan can endure the physical pain and suffering, he accurately predicted that with her personality she would never want to be so thoroughly humiliated, but it just feels like. Before the formal interrogation begins, it is necessary to crush the opponent's spirit and destroy the foundation for their self-confidence. It looks as if Xie Yan doesn't intend to show even the slightest bit of pity towards the fairer sex. He's going to completely beat the crap out of her. Just imagining it feels good. There's no time to lose, so let's get started. My lady, bring the mirror. Miss, that beautiful face in the mirror will soon say goodbye to you, so you'd better take a good hard look at it and take notes, so you can keep a souvenir. Are you done? Then, let's get started with your eyes, finger of face. No, stop, let go of me. I'm from the Blissful Temple. I'll tell you everything, don't do this to me. I haven't even started yet. By the way, I spared no effort with all my acting just now to get the atmosphere right, so I must have gotten a lot of origin points, right? What's going on? Why are the origin points only from Qin Shixi and the matriarch? The Taoist nun is afraid like this, so shouldn't she be spamming me with them? What the hell is wrong with this guy? Don't tell me all the previous terror was faked? Wu Lingxian got in touch with us 5 months ago. At that time, in order to avoid attracting suspicion, we cooperated with her to put on a play. If we're talking about 5 months ago, it was said that the Great Elder got into a confrontation with the Blissful Temple over an exceptionally gifted disciple. Since the matter had already been settled by the Great Elder, there wasn't any follow-up. Exceptionally gifted disciple? 5 months ago? Holy shit, it's not Shiyener, is it? It hadn't occurred to me that Wu Lingxian and the Blissful Temple had hooked up then. Go on, what are the details of your plot? Wu Lingxian made an agreement with our sect master that as long as we help her clear the obstacles and ascend to the throne of the marching sect, she's willing to give up the property in her name to the Blissful Temple. The original plan was simply to assassinate the 4th elder who had been in conflict with the matriarch, and make the 3rd elder, who has been finding it hard to maintain her neutrality, suspicious of the matriarch, so that she'd then turn to Wu Lingxian and join forces with her. So she's had her eye on me for a long time. But the opportunity never came, and just when we thought that we might have to change our method, Wu Lingxian suddenly came in person to the Jiangling region, and gave me the time and place to commission the Xue Lu to prepare for the assassination. Wasn't that when the Great Elder attempted to rope in the 3rd elder and get her to hand me over? So it turns out that was just a side trip. Was her real purpose to notify the Blissful Temple to cause trouble? But you didn't expect the assassination to fail, and for me to have survived. Because of the urgency of the matter, I had to personally explain the situation to Wu Lingxian and discuss our next plan. I didn't expect to have a moment's carelessness and for you to catch me by surprise. Though it was a simple plan, it hit the nail on the head. It's really Wu Lingxian's plot, it's just that. The Blissful Temple is making great efforts for Wu Lingxian. What will happen when she turns her back on you? As a token of her sincerity, Wu Lingxian gave us her Jade of Pleasant Brightness jade amulet as a keepsake. Only I know where that thing is hidden, therefore. Jade of Pleasant Brightness? Wu Lingxian actually gave that to you? Miss, do you still not get your situation? Do you really think you're currently in a position to negotiate? Please don't do it. I know you want to topple Wu Lingxian, and now that I've fallen into your hands, I have no other choice. As long as you swear on your sect founder that you'll let me live after you've toppled Wu Lingxian, I'll testify on your behalf and tell you where the keepsake is." What this guy said is exactly what a panic-stricken person should have. But her tone and look were so calm and collected, she even had the leisure to analyze that once we completely find the evidence, she'll lose her value. This situation is a little weird. "Hong Yan, what do you think?" "Sure. You Hong Yan, swear on this Mo Qing arcane command token to the sect founder Yu Shiluo that as long as Bai Yuyan assists me in overthrowing the Great Elder, Wu Lingxian, I'll be willing to let her live. Hong Yan, I'll watch over this Taoist nun myself, and when the sect meeting begins, I'll escort her out to expose Wu Lingxian in public. The path one takes is eventually the one that one chooses for oneself. And as we gradually drift further apart, sometimes we know strangers better than the ones we're acquainted with. Xia Yan, Xinzi, I'm a little tired, take your leave." "I'll excuse myself, matriarch, I'll be withdrawing, master." Sisu clearly knows that the Great Elder and her are arch-enemies, and this time she finally got the chance to get rid of her, but she doesn't seem at all happy. Is it because infighting is often the starting point for a sect's decline? Excellent, in this way, we'll obtain all the witnesses and physical evidence that is needed. Yeah, if all goes well, the matriarch can re-establish her authority. But my lady, can that jade you were talking about really prove the collusion between the Great Elder and the Blissful Temple? My dear has been performing so well recently, and your skill has been improving at such an incredible pace that I almost forgot you were a newcomer to the world of cultivation. Very well, I'll tell you in detail about the jade of pleasant brightness. This jade has one characteristic: under the continuous warmth of innate energy, it can absorb a nourishing trace of it, and preserve it for 100 years without dissipating. By making it into a jade artifact, the holder can activate the innate energy contained in it in times of crisis to ward off damage. Doesn't that sound amazing? But this jade has quite a lot of inconveniences. First of all, it can only be used to ward off damage from practitioners at the acquired realm, and will hardly affect attacks coming from those at the innate realm, making it practically useless for an innate realm expert. However, only innate realm experts have enough innate energy for it to absorb. Furthermore, the absorption speed of this jade is extremely slow, and it often takes several years to reach the point where it can ward off damage. It takes way too long to produce, the result isn't any good, so basically no one wants to put the effort into making one. As far as I know, the only person in the whole sect who has racked her brains making one was Master, which she afterwards gave to me as a present. The production of these jade artifacts is extremely time-consuming, and it isn't possible to falsify the characteristics of the innate energy of the maker stored inside it. So if such a jade artifact made by the Great Elder were to be indeed found in the hands of the Blissful Temple, it will absolutely prove that both sides are rather well connected. By the way, my lady, what was going on with that Bai Yuyan during the interrogation? She was like a duck in a thunderstorm before confessing, so why did she become expressionless, as if she were a cold puppet, after she started to do so? That's the unique foundation technique of the core disciples of the Blissful Temple, the Taoist heart of Mara. It requires the deepest desires in one's heart to be transformed into Tao, while simultaneously discarding all other emotions and fixations, leaving only the Taoist heart to serve the Tao. Provided nothing in nature is enough to cause their Tao to waver, they can look upon everything completely without emotion and with absolute reason. And if their Tao is shaken, no matter what cost they must pay, they'll risk their lives to defend it. The emotions that Bai Yuyan expressed were all fake, and she was actually calmly analyzing the pros and cons in her mind. Your interrogation was successful, presumably because it touched her Taoist heart. Does that mean that Bai Yuyan is so obsessed with her beauty that she chose to give in after weighing the pros and cons? I actually didn't produce any emotions in her? You understood that pretty quickly. That's exactly so. Bai Yuyan's Tao must be the pride of a woman whose beauty has surpassed all others, and by lucky coincidence your threatening to disfigure her was a stab right at her vulnerability. At first, she didn't want to expose herself as someone from the Blissful Temple, so she naturally put on an emotional show. When she admitted her identity, there was no point in continuing the pretense. I can't believe there's a martial art like this. Wait a minute, it can't be. Xia Yan, your tone is quite imposing. Even when you're alone with me, you still want to call both the Great Elder and the Second Elder for a secret rendezvous with the four of us? I can't say whether the Great Elder won't slap you to death. Even if she agrees, the three of us will squeeze everything out of you until there's nothing left. Tonight, I'm here to take the three of you on. It's a fine thing to have self-confidence, but... Hey, Third Elder, what are you doing with that hand? Easy now. Don't squeeze, it'll explode. You can't even hold your own with me alone, and you want to take on the three of us? I can hold, how could I not? A man can never say he can hold it. Day of the sect meeting. Great Elder, Wu Lingxian. Second Elder, Yan Meiling. Third Elder, Yu Xuanji. Fourth Elder, Wei Redale. Matriarch, all the disciples of the sect and branch representatives are present. Good. So before we begin, I have some good news for you. My direct disciple, your elder martial sister Qinxingxi, has reached the final stage of the 9th layer of the acquired realm. If there are no mishaps, she will soon break through that realm and step into the innate realm. Xinxi, according to the sect rules, you'll be the 5th elder by then, so don't slack off and break through as soon as possible. The position of elder is only a vain title. As long as I have master's guidance, I'll get all I could ever wish for. That's all I have to say. Next, according to the order, the Great Elder will be the first to tell us what recent affairs she wishes to inform us of. There's nothing of note on my end. Expect that my disciple Shi Yenna was humiliated by your personal servant Xie Yan on the challenge arena that day and has never recovered ever since. After all this time, she should have long stepped into the 6th layer of the acquired realm, but now she has only reached the 4th. Xie Yan, how do you intend to make up for what you did to my Yenner? You're the one who aimlessly made the bet to compete in the challenge arena with me in the first place. In my opinion, Xie Yan was a complete gentleman on the ring that day by not throwing a single punch or kick. Great Elder, don't you think you're being a little difficult on purpose? I guess you have a point in this case, but why don't you take a look at what Xie Yan has been doing since he entered the sect? Enforcer Yi, report to the matriarch the final outcome of the ancestral shrine matter. Xie Yan broke into the ancestral shrine and destroyed the statue of the sect founder in the chaos. First of all, we spent nearly 3,000 silver taels to repair her statue. However, this is less important. Most importantly, several disciples in the sect were met with calamity when they were breaking through, and either ended up with disability or dementia. All this is inextricably linked to Xie Yan's destruction of the sect founder's statue and his influence on the sect's feng shui. What does it have to do with me if you guys had a bad break and something unexpected happened when you were breaking through? Is feng shui that amazing in a martial arts world? This is clearly a world of cultivation, right? Xie Yan, this is all your fault. Xie Yan, we'll bring you to justice. Xie Yan, you're using your position as personal servant to humiliate us. You've gone too far. The Great Elder only allowed Enforcer Yi to speak. When did she give you a turn? Shut up. The matter will be noted down for the time being, and the decision will be made when the final verdict is handed down. Second Elder, do you have anything to say? What I would like to say is roughly the same as that of the Great Elder and Enforcer Yi, so I will not repeat it. But I would like to make my position clear. I think the matriarch has been indeed somewhat partial towards Xie Yan lately. I have received reports from many of my disciples that Xie Yan has frequently humiliated other disciples, borrowing Qinxi's and the matriarch's status and authority, hoping that the matriarch would praise him for his insight. So, what I'm going to say has to do with Xie Yan as well, only, on my side, I am not criticizing, but praising him. Before I talk about that, let me show you my recently established idol troupe, Demon Girl 48. Wow, did the sect have this many maidens before? Take a closer look, they look like they belong to the I Ching establishment of the city of Jiangling. Sister, why are you so gussied up? Why are you totally different from the last time I saw you? Whose new rouge did you put on? Or did you develop a new makeup? Sister, I heard you've been promoted and became Lady Qinglian alongside Lady Qi Luo and Lady Meng Tang? It's a long story. My sisters and I of the I Ching establishment were able to become so charming, thanks to one person. And that's Master Xie. Master Xie, we haven't seen you for over a month. We missed you so much. Without Master Xie, I simply have no appetite and can't sleep at night. Master Xie, when will you come back to Jiangling and give us more advice? Ladies, I'm flattered, but I just added a few touches to your original reality. As you can all see, my newly established Demon Girls 48 has already crushed the rival Yinyu County Hall in such a short period of time. We have already seized the whole market in the Jianling region. The next step will be to expand this model to other regions. Judging by this momentum, let alone a mere 3,000 taels, even 30,000 taels or 300,000 taels can be earned, in which case Xie Yan's contribution cannot be left unrecognized. All things considered, I believe Xie Yan's deeds outweigh his faults. So finally, Fourth Elder, what do you have to say? It's not related to Xie Yan too, is it? Even though Xie Yan is not the main character of what I'm about to say, he plays a crucial role in it. It started when I was cultivating in the cold pool and ran up against an assassination attempt by the Shui Lu. At that time, my internal energy was in disarray, and just as I was about to lose my life at their hands, Xie Yan appeared in time and saved me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to stand here and speak to you today. And then, when I started to look into the whole story, I found something odd. The only people in this sect who could know about my place of practice are the matriarch and the great elder. In other words, it is only possible that one of the two of you are responsible for this, and finally, after trial and error, the one who let the cat out of the bag was you, great elder Wu Lingxian. Let the cat out of the bag? You're spewing downright slander. Since I've said this much, naturally I have enough evidence to back it up. Bring her up. This is Bai Yuyan, the maid of Bai Suyuan, elder of the Blissful Temple, which you secretly contacted a few nights ago, and I sneak attacked and brought back for interrogation. At first, she refused to confess no matter what, but later, under Xie Yan's severe torture, she recounted everything in great detail about your dealings with the Blissful Temple. Xie Yan's role in this was, not only saving my life, but also getting the truth out. That tone, is the fourth elder giving you all the credit, my dear? That's true, why would she do that? What a load of nonsense, you said this much. But these are all one-sided remarks. There's absolutely no evidence, you're just trying to frame me. Who said there's no evidence? This is the jade amulet you handed over to the Blissful Temple as a token of your sincerity to join forces with them. All of this evidence was obtained with the help of Xie Yan and the matriarch. If it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't have been able to get my hands on them on my own. If you want to resort to sophistry, then I'll show you. Great Elder, what's your explanation for this? You didn't even want to give that jade amulet to Shiyener, why do they have it? Lingxian, what is going on here? I don't know either, how can she have that thing? The Great Elder has no way of turning it around. We need to stabilize the situation now as soon as possible, or the sect will really fall into unrest. Wu Lingxian, what else do you have to say? It's totally baffling. I just can't explain this. It's time to call it a day. Great Elder, since it's come to this, there's nothing to hide anymore. Gutsin. Me and Lingxian have long been in love with each other, and we've made up our minds to spend our whole lives together. That jade amulet is clearly a token of love Lingxian gave me. It is the only one of its kind in the whole world. And it would never be handed over to the Blissful Temple as an emotionless prop to show sincerity. Eh? I had kept a few things in my secret treasury, but a few days ago, a burglar broke into it. That person was so smart, he didn't dare to take some of my most prized possessions, so I kept my mouth shut about it, but he couldn't mask the traces he left behind in my treasury. Now that I think about it, that day Qin Xinxi came to me, she was trying to lure me away so that someone could sneak in. And that someone who infiltrated into my room was definitely you, Xie Yan. Matriarch, everything that's happened today, is that you're trying to slander the Great Elder. Naturally, the matriarch will certainly not admit it, but I'm afraid this is all true. Bai Yuyan, let me ask you, when and where did the Great Elder meet you? And when was that jade amulet handed over to you? And I still have a lot of other questions. We'll bring out the facts one by one right now and see who's lying. Since you wish to confront me, Bai Yuyan, go give them an honest account. Heng Yan, you knew that you needed more evidence to get Wu Lingxian to plead guilty, so you had me caught. Did you ever think that this would happen today? Shut up. You. My bad, on second thought, I can't have you speak out of turn. Wei Rudeo, what have you done? Seeing that the material evidence has been overturned, only the witness testimony has left, but you struck her dead? Is that so? Enforcer, you just saw your weakness, had a flash of wit, and stepped forward to divert the attention from your disgraceful act. Who the devil knows if you ever sent him a token of love or not? What if this Taoist nun, in an attempt to quell her anger at her cruel interrogation, had wrongfully accused the matriarch with her nonsense? Wrongfully accused? I'm the one who's been falsely accused of something that's pure fiction. It's obvious that you silenced her to prevent her from divulging the truth, so that the guilt would be forced on me. Not only that, you actually dare to fight with me? Don't forget whose help made your martial arts possible. You're right, you played a part in my martial arts, but you have nothing to do with the subsequent moves. Is that what you've come up with? Nothing but flashy tricks. All of you, stop. Look at what has become of these disciples because of your skirmish. If I hadn't protected them in time, several of them would have been crippled if not dead, so cease this immediately. Great Elder, now that the witness is dead, there's still a lot of uncertainty left in the matter. Let's each take a step back and make a detailed investigation in the days to come. Yu Hongyan, you're not the one who's been slandered, you're not the one who's had her personal relationship exposed. Don't put on that noble and saintly facade. I tried hard to persuade you out of it, but you do this to me? You're too presumptuous, Wu Lingxian. Yu Hongyan, I'm superior to you in terms of seniority. I'm greater than you in terms of merit. How can you be the matriarch? It's because you always have these types of thoughts that Master didn't let you be the matriarch. All hell's breaking loose. The matriarch and the great elder are going at it. Run for it. If you get involved, it won't be as simple as getting hurt. We've been plotting to take Yu Hongyan down from the position of matriarch recently. But I didn't expect that Yu Hongyan would take the lead. Lingxian, I'll help you. Second elder, the matriarch and the great elder have always resented each other, so why on earth do you want to join in? Let them fight to their heart's content. Or are the rumors true that you hate men, love only the same sex, and have quite the odd personal preferences? Therefore you don't want to be surrounded by the beautiful women of the sect, but prefer to secretly admire middle-aged ladies like the great elder? It's a pity that the great elder is really not into other women. Your utter bullshit not only damages my reputation but it also insults my friendship with Wu Lingxian. Oh, did you get pissed off because your intimate thoughts were exposed? Wei Redale, your mouth really reeks of all your bullshit, so much so that I just don't know if it will continue doing so even after beating you to an inch of your life. Perfect timing. Let's see whose is stronger, your extreme yang conversion into ice-cold innate energy, or my extreme yin transformation into flaming yang innate energy. Why did things become like this? I didn't anticipate that Enforcer Yi would suddenly jump ship. Attention, disciples of the Maching sect. You mustn't get involved in the sect conflict or stay here any longer. Each of the elders' direct disciples will take the lead and return to their respective secondary mansions in all haste. That guy, Xie Yan, is gone in a blink of an eye. He sure runs fast. Shiryena? Aren't you the great elder's precious disciple? Why did you end up in our group? I was planning to gather the master's disciples and evacuate, but Enforcer Yi suddenly appeared and drove me out. That Xie Yan is largely to blame for things getting to this point. Enforcer Yi? What the hell is he up to? The matriarch is no longer who she once was, nor had she ever used subterfuge to incriminate someone. Since Xie Yan's arrival, her methods have become more and more disgraceful. It must have been that brute, Xie Yan, who came up with this insidious scheme to frame the great elder. Xie Yan is so arrogant and domineering that he's backed up by the matriarch that he has repeatedly humiliated many of the disciples of the sect in public. He simply couldn't be any more impudent. Will you continue to endure such a sinister villain? We can't judge who's right or wrong between the four elders and the matriarch, nor can we interfere. But this Xie Yan must be eliminated. Now, I'm going to behead the sycophantic courtier and cleanse the emperor's side. I'm going to return purity back to the Maching. Yeah, Enforcer Yi is totally right. Now is our great chance to put that Xie Yan down. Death to the dickless bastard. Let's go. It's time for Xie Yan to pay for what he's done. Master Xie, we haven't seen each other since you left Jiangling almost 10 days ago. Now that we're all together at last, why are you going away in a hurry again? Don't go, Master Xie, we'll protect you. Please stay where you are, ladies. Enforcer Yi, you haven't taken the disciples behind you to evacuate. Why are you blocking our way? We don't mean to stop you in the slightest. It just so happens there's one among you who we have a score to settle with. Leave Xie Yan behind, and we'll let you go. Hand over Xie Yan. Hey, if it isn't Enforcer Yi, you didn't go help your mistress, and brought these disciples to target me all of a sudden. What kind of game are you playing? Come out if you've got the balls. What kind of ability is it to rely on women to protect you? Why should I do what you want when a whole bunch of you want to take advantage of the situation? Besides, the misses of the I Ching establishment are willing to protect me. If I refused, wouldn't I break their hearts? Master Xie is well versed in all kinds of poetry and songs. Even as a eunuch, he's a talented writer and graceful. He's also good looking, and much more charming than you repulsive cunts. Hand over Xie Yan now. Do you think we'd give you something just because you told us to? Just who the hell do you think you are? Enough. I just took my eyes off you for a second, so how did it turn into this mess? If you're just going to cause further trouble, then get out of here. Whoa, has the third elder really lost her temper? Yeah, I haven't seen Master like this for ages. We'd better go. If we continue staying here, even if we manage to avoid getting involved in the fighting, Master will beat us to death. Yigutsun, as the enforcer of this sect, how can you actually think of taking revenge in such a critical time? Did the third elder forget that the sect meeting is by no means over yet? If the matriarch and the elders want to fight each other, that's their business, but punishing a wicked disciple like Xie Yan allows no delay. What a bunch of nonsense. How can you actually think that punishing Xie Yan is more important than the safety of the disciples, or even quelling the chaos in the sect? I think you're totally out of your mind. In my opinion, I'm more sober now than all the elders, including you, Yu Xuanji. Yi Gutsun, you really have some nerve. Gutsun. Wu Lingxian, you still have time to worry about others? Gutsun, are you okay? Third elder, you actually hit him? Enforcer Yi openly defied his orders and didn't take me, the third elder, seriously, so I taught him a little lesson. But matriarch, how could you just let the great elder off the hook when she made such an obvious opening just now? If I wasn't forced by the circumstances, I wouldn't want to fight her in the first place. Lingxian, I'm sorry. I wanted to help you, but I ended up giving you. Great Sect Formation, activate. The Great Sect Formation? Who activated it? Wei Rideo. If you hadn't made a move soon, then I'd worry that the matriarch and the great elder would start fighting for real. It wasn't in vain that we put on this act for so long. Now it's time for you to get a taste of your own medicine. How many people from Blissful Temple will come? I'm looking forward to it. Fourth elder, the Great Sect Formation isn't something to be activated lightly. What are you thinking? Today's event was just the trigger. The root cause was everyone's long-standing grievances. All of this was inevitably going to erupt sooner or later, and since it's already happening, why not just activate the Great Sect Formation and let them fight to their heart's content? To put it mildly, to activate the Great Sect Formation, you need to exhaust an extremely precious energy spirit stone, and there's only one such stone in our sect. If it's damaged, it'll take a lot of time to repair. Is it really something you should use during infighting? This sect is in turmoil, and everyone's fighting for real. So if outside foes were to take advantage of the situation, without the Great Sect Formation to protect us, could you take the responsibility, Yu Xuanji? Wei Rideo, you thought this through so well that you're worthy of praise, however. Have you ever considered the possibility that the sect would be invaded by outsiders anyway when the energy spirit stone for the Great Sect Formation runs out? Third elder, you're worrying too much. Even without the energy spirit stone, provided 3 innate realm experts gave it their all, the Great Sect Formation can still be activated. Is the marching sect short of 3 such practitioners by any chance? What's more, the energy spirit stone can support the Great Sect Formation for at least a day or 2. You think we can fight for that long? Don't you see that the Great Sect Formation has been activated, but the matriarch hasn't stopped in the least? Doesn't she know more about righteousness than you, Yu Xuanji? It has been many years since the marching sect activated the Great Sect Formation, but it is really saddening to think that this time, it was activated for the sake of infighting. Wei Rideo, what's the meaning of this? What do you think? I'm taking this opportunity to settle an old score with you. Don't think I'd forget about how you snatched my disciple so easily. You still recall that kind of ancient history. She's the one who insisted on coming. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't send her back. You call that wanting to send her back? You played a game of cat and mouse with her because you knew she lusted after your body. Yu Xuanji, you won't even let your disciples off. Wei Rideo, you psycho. Holy shit, I finally got rid of those girls from the I Ching establishment. I still have urgent business to attend to. This seems to be the so-called Great Sect Defensive Formation. It isolates the whole marching sect from the outside world as if it were another dimension. It's truly impressive. I shot my finger of flowery swords, but saw no sign of penetration, and the formation didn't move in the slightest. Totally amazing. All right, no more playing around. I'd better set my plan in motion. The matriarch and the others have been fighting up there for more than an hour, and I don't know how things are going. Eh? Qin Shinsi? Qin Shinsi coming down the mountain at a time like this is really suspicious. Will I have to sneak up on her and see what the hell she's up to? Don't be a traitor, that would be bad for my plan. Ow, my lady, don't hit my head. Damned girl, I told you to come back soon after you bought the osmanthus cake. Did you go to play in town again? I wanted to buy some rouge powder as well. Ouch, That hurts. Follow me back to the mountain. When the great sect formation activated, I waited for you left and right, but you didn't come back, so I came down to see if something had happened to you outside. Eh? Why has the great sect formation been activated? Master and the elders are fighting. I guess they activated it because they were afraid of being attacked by others. Oh, you got some osmanthus cake, give me a slice. So it turns out that the reason for her going down the mountain was because of this. I didn't realize that this bitch loved her servant girl this dearly. Xie Yan, you were following me? How could that be? I was just out for a stroll, but I never thought my lady was intending to eat alone. This just won't do. A married couple should treat each other with mutual respect, you know? Geez, do you take me for a child? But just in time, I have something to ask you. You go back to the sect first. Right. I've always had this feeling that there's something going on between you and Master that you've been hiding from me. My lady is indeed exceptionally smart. But is that any way to talk to your husband? My lovely husband, unless you tell me, I'll have to use a secret nighttime technique capable of bringing great pleasure even to eunuchs. My lady, your face has become too fake. Who dares to sneak up on me? You're Qin Shinzi, Yu Hongyan's direct disciple at the 9th layer of the acquired realm, aren't you? An innate realm expert, you're Huoliangu from the blissful temple. What a cunning girl, she reacted so quickly, and didn't even try to match my attack, but rather used its power to get away. As one would expect from an innate realm expert, there's really a great difference between realms. Even when I used her power to escape, I still got hurt by the aftershock. Huoliangu is the trusted aide of the sect master of the blissful temple. Since she showed up, it's highly likely that Dang Hongchen has arrived in person too. I need to inform Master as soon as possible. That's right, Xie Yan certainly can't keep up with the speed of an innate realm expert, but seeing how unfavorable the situation was, it already wasn't easy to seize the opportunity to escape in one piece. How could I possibly ensure his life? Xie Yan is actually escaping ahead of me. Luckily, I didn't delay the slightest bit and ran like the wind back to the great sect formation straight away. Straight away? So when I was attacked, you didn't even plan to help me, and just turned tail and ran? My lady, do you think I'm stupid? If you could win, you wouldn't even need my help, but if you couldn't, you still wanted me to conveniently count on you to save me? As the old saying goes, husband and wife are just like birds of the same flock. Each flies their separate ways when disaster strikes. Ha, that's a good one. Next time, I'll definitely be the one to fly away first. I personally came out, but I couldn't even take down 2 youngsters at the acquired realm. That man and woman are slippery indeed. Huoliangu, you really need to change your fiery style. High Priestess. Blissful Temple High Priestess, Dang Hongchen. Blissful Temple, Huang Tingxian. Blissful Temple Bao Pugu. Blissful Temple Wu Xiagu. In accordance with the original plan, we should have waited for the great sect formation to crumble, then rushed up the main peak and killed Yu Hongyan and the elders of the marching sect. But with what you did just now, those 2 youngsters will report it, so they'll be on their guard. The great sect formation has been up for so long that they are sure to be greatly weakened by their fight, so even if they know about it beforehand, there's nothing they can do about it. As for those 2, they were so lovey-dovey, it was honestly unpleasant to look at, so I couldn't help but want to dispose of them. It's all right, our plan is completely foolproof anyway. Once she destroys the energy spirit stone for the great sect formation, we will be able to march straight in. As for you, who hurt yourself to stir Wu Lingxian up, stay here and recuperate. Once we slaughter Yu Hongyan and every elder of the marching, I'll put my heart and soul into attending to your wounds personally. Thank you very much, High Priestess. Wu Lingxian, you and Yan Meling can't even beat me together. Who are you to covet the matriarch's throne? What's with all this cockiness? You ended up running out of innate energy fighting it out with the both of us. Now you can only fight using plain hand-to-hand combat. Myling and I are 2, and you're only 1. I advise you to surrender as soon as possible, so we don't have to beat up your pretty face. Surrender? I think that the ones that should surrender are you 2. You're actually still practicing this kind of unsophisticated fighting technique? During the time when I was recovering from my injuries, I had nothing to do and couldn't cultivate, so I practiced it a little in the event of any misfortune. I never thought I'd actually use it today. Rodeo, how are things on your end? Hongyan, even though I can't fight 2 innate experts at the same time like you, I'm more than capable of dealing with you, Xuanji. You don't have to step in. Ha! All your attacks fall apart before they even reach me. Wei Rideo, that's some bravado you got going there. Yu Xuanji, isn't your power getting too weak to ward off my ice-cold innate energy too? Master, elders, please stop and listen to me. Huoliangu from the Blissful Temple has just appeared. I suspect that the Blissful Temple learned about the infighting in our sect, and has come to take advantage of this situation, so much so that Dang Hongqin may even have come in person too. What? The Blissful Temple? So soon? The two of you are definitely not a match for an innate realm expert. Qin Xinzi, you're only slightly wounded, and even Xia Yan is completely unharmed. How did you two manage to escape from her? Xinzi and I reacted quickly enough to spot the enemy's sneak attack and blocked it together, taking the opportunity to flee. All right, the two of them are quick-witted. There's no need to misjudge. If it was only the Blissful Temple snooping about, then it's fine. But if in the worst case, Dang Hongqin is really here, then there must be a lot of innate realm experts accompanying her. Third Elder, what's the status of the Great Sect formation? It will hold out for another day without any issues. Another day? It's not an abundant stretch of time by any means, but it's enough to make do. Everyone, we're now exhausted and seriously injured. If the Blissful Temple does indeed take the opportunity to attack, we won't be able to bear the great responsibility of maintaining the Great Sect formation. How about we stop for the time being, go back to our respective residences to retrieve healing pills, strive our hardest to recover the energy we used up until now, and then come back to maintain the Great Sect formation. What do you say? I have no problems with that. Sure. Rideo, what about you? If you asked me, you're way too optimistic, Matriarch. How much can we recover in just one day? At the time the Great Formation declines, those 5 innate realm experts from the Blissful Temple will barge in immediately. So we're definitely no match. Wei Rideo, how do you know that the Blissful Temple has brought 5 innate realm experts? You don't sound like you're guessing, but like you're awfully sure. I got so tired fighting you, that my mind went into a trance, and at the last moment, I even exposed myself. But I purposely kept one last trace of my innate energy. Rideo, what are you doing? The traitor was actually Wei Rideo. Never in a million times would I have ever thought it would be you. Now that the energy spirit stone is destroyed, the Great Sect formation will automatically shut off. If you have any last words, you'd better say them now. Wei Rideo, I just want to know, you're already an elder of a sect. What could the Blissful Temple possibly offer you for you to betray the marching sect? Preposterous. Dang Hongqin. Allow me to tell you the reason you will die. Wei Rideo is originally someone from the Blissful Temple. That being so, how could this talk of betrayal be valid? She's been lurking in your sect for over a decade, and now, it's time for her to return. She sure did an awesome job as an undercover agent. If she had stayed undercover, she might have even got the chance to become the matriarch. Xia Yan, you're still in the mood to crack jokes? Rideo, you were actually from the Blissful Temple from the very beginning? If the 4th Elder has truly been someone from the Blissful Temple all this time, then their scheme was way too intricate. What's Xia Yan doing? Xia Yan, what are you doing? Rideo, so when you said the Blissful Temple hired the Shiri Lu to assassinate you, that was something I arranged. I originally wanted Wu Lingxian to think you were the mastermind, but I didn't expect that Xia Yan would disrupt my scheme, so I went along with it, since ultimately the goal was all about having you massacre one another. So that's how it is, but you've lived here since you were a child, even if you were a mole sent by the Blissful Temple. Your relationship with the marching sect should definitely be far greater. How could you betray us? Why would you even need to? What could the Blissful Temple give you? Now that things have come to this point, there's nothing more to say, Matriarch. The marching sect will come to an end today. So you really don't have any feelings for me, or for the whole sect? Was it because this Xia Yan offended you that made you have the heart to betray us? I'm fine, go help the others. It's my turn. Finger of Nirvana. I do indeed find that Xia Yan disagreeable, but it has nothing to do with him. If it wasn't Xia Yan, did Dang Hongqin promise you something or blackmail you into making such a decision? Yu Hongyan, you're full of nonsense. No, you're trying to stall for time to sneakily recover your power. Dang Hongqin, you're pushing me too far. There's something wrong with Master. Don't make me drag you to hell with me. Yu Hongyan, oh Yu Hongyan, you still have this much power after your fight. I must say I somewhat underestimated you, but it's a pity that this time you're powerless to reverse the situation. Hualiengu, go have some fun with our beloved Yu Hongyan, master of the great Yu sect. Yes. I'm good, go help the great elder. So soon? I certainly can't count on you for everything. Yu Xuanji, you want to make one last-ditch struggle too? You people from the blissful temple dropped in to kill us. Am I not even allowed to put up a fight? Huang Tingxian, go get rid of her. Yes. Good, very good indeed. Villains die because they talk too much. Just give me some more time. Eh? I'm the dignified great elder of the marching sect. I have no need for the help of a snot-nosed punk like you. Then the second elder. Holy crap, you all made your own preparations? Something isn't right, all of you, go all out. Too late. Yu Hongyan, you've fully recovered your power? What do you think? It's not just the matriarch who's fully recovered. We'll be in charge of restarting the formation. Leave the people of the blissful temple to the matriarch. Did you ask me if you could restart the formation? Blissful Buddhist body. Die. Beautiful girls have spirits most divine, and when set ablaze, a previously unseen being soars. Demonic birth of the divine body. Whoa, holy shit, a Taoist immortal scuffle. My dear, my lady, don't take me by surprise, you scared the death out of me. You're hiding really far away. You're no better than me, my lady. Didn't you come over to hide too? Humph. So the reason I was wondering why Dang Hongchen's martial arts felt so lackluster was because it was a feint. She has long since fled. Great sect formation, reactivate. I asked the three of you to maintain the great sect formation. Leave the blissful temple party to me. Hurry, matriarch. Whilst the great sect formation is active, their party's strength will be suppressed by at least half. This is the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to wipe them all out that we've been waiting for. If you don't go after them and let them run away, because of all this nonsense you're spouting, you won't deserve to be the matriarch. Just go, matriarch, and leave the great sect formation to us. Rest assured, great elder, they can't escape their doom this time. When I saw the matriarch and the elders fighting each other before, I thought I had seen the full power of an innate realm expert. It wasn't until I saw the fight between the matriarch and the high priestess that I realized that I was just seeing the tip of the iceberg. But compared to this, am I really that unworthy of the elders' trust? You all recovered your power before I even took action. As the saying goes, always be wary of others. How could we of the marching sect put our lives in somebody else's hands? Only by having a hidden trump card up your sleeve can you walk with confidence. However, your finger of nirvana is truly wondrous. Although I was prepared for it, I only thought I'd recover by about 60% to 70%. I never expected I'd completely recover with a single use. Xie Yan really has a godly healing technique. Strange. When did he learn such a magical martial art? Could he really be a secret pawn that master has kept hidden? Xie Yan, you're so young, yet you're in the possession of such a unique skill. I want you more and more. You greatly flatter me. One of those demon girls 48 is already enough to deal with. Now it's a 1,000-year-old vixen. This is really too much. Xie Yan, how much longer are you going to fool around here? The second elder and I are very busy concentrating on healing ourselves and maintaining the great sect formation. If you don't have anything better to do, go take a hike somewhere else. Don't wander around back and forth, it's an eyesore. In that case, I'll be taking my leave. It seems that the great elder is venting her anger at me because she was fooled by her sweetheart and can't vent anywhere else. Menopausal women who've had their hearts broken are really not to be trifled with. Gotta slip away. With the protection of the Great Formation, the sect is very safe now. Do you want to go out for a stroll with me, my lady? No thanks, you'd better go by yourself. I'm going to stay here to guard the elders. Suit yourself. Even though the sect meeting was just an act, the relationship between Xie Yan and the Great Elder doesn't seem to have improved in the least. Xie Yan, come play with me when you're free. Things on the Great Elder's side are fairly normal. But when did Xie Yan get so close to the Third Elder? How many bites did the Third Elder sneak in when I was only halfway through? Third Elder, there's something that's been puzzling me. I wonder if you could dispel my confusion. Speak your mind. I noticed that everyone seems to have been prepared for the Blissful Temple's assault. And since you just had a conversation with Xie Yan, I'd like to know if Xie Yan and the Elders, or the Third Elder, made any plans? Well, to explain it, let me start from the night before the meeting. That night, Xie Yan came to me and asked me to secretly invite the Great Elder and the Second Elder to discuss something very important with us. He said that Wei Rodeo was very likely a mole from the Blissful Temple, and that at the sect meeting tomorrow, she was bound to stir up a storm and trigger a riot. So Xie Yan already knew that the fourth elder, Wei Rideo, was a traitor? He didn't dare say he was certain, and couldn't even provide any evidence. Then We still, what? He just asked us to keep an eye on Wei Rideo's behavior. If we found something amiss, pretend we didn't know, and if infighting really broke out and we conserved some of our power, maybe we could even give the blissful temple a taste of their own medicine and get to catch them like sitting ducks. Why wouldn't we do it when there were only benefits and no drawbacks? That bastard, Xie Yan, he actually didn't drop me a single hint about such a big deal. Come on, you Xuanji, don't make such a big deal out of Xie Yan. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. He just had a stroke of good luck. I really had never thought of Wei Rideo as a traitor before, but her performance at the meeting was ridiculous. Even without Xie Yan's advance notice, I could still perceive something was wrong and would never have fought with the matriarch seriously. Whether there was a Xie Yan or not, it wouldn't affect my judgment. I'm not so sure about that, Great Elder. The abode of immortal soul rejuvenation pill is difficult to refine, and once it has been, it must be taken within 12 hours or its effect will be lost. Would you usually prepare such a thing? In addition, although the second elder's primordial heavenly energy nurturing technique is powerful, the necessary preparations are immense. You must have spent 2 to 4 hours before the meeting to get everything properly ready, no doubt. Like I said, if there was no Xie Yan, I absolutely wouldn't have been tricked into fighting with the Martrake. I don't owe Xie Yan anything. Yes, you don't owe Xie Yan anything. But without his warning, we certainly wouldn't have had the chance to scoop them all up in one go. If we hadn't gone those lengths to keep Wei Rideo in the dark, she wouldn't have fallen for it, and if she hadn't attempted to bring down the great sect formation, how could we give her a taste of her own medicine? So that's how it is. Shinsi, let me tell you one more thing. Xie Yan isn't a eunuch. Haven't you milked such a fine man many times before? Do you want to give him to me so I can have a taste? Please conduct yourself, third elder. How does the third elder know that Xie Yan isn't castrated? Could it be? Xie Yan, you bastard, just you wait until I get my revenge on you later. The fight over at the matriarch's side is really lively. I wonder how the battle is progressing. I'd better go check it out. In case something goes wrong, I'll still need to use those goons from the Xuelu. Huh? What the hell, why did Yigutsun start spamming me all of a sudden? Wait a minute, that guy is close by. Huh, what a strong repulsive force. I was attacked by surprise. It was so powerful that divine impact of Zen almost broke apart. It must have been Yigutsun, just as I was baffled why I was being spammed. This bastard bully even takes pleasure in sneak attacking others. I'll put on an act and take him by surprise too. Apparently, that odd body protection technique isn't exactly the heavenly guard, but it can actually reflect part of my power. This punk really can't be allowed to live. It's a pity your cultivation realm is so low, no amount of body protection techniques can save you. I knew that the Blissful Temple's plan had mostly failed when I saw the Great Sect formation reactivate. I wanted to take flight in all haste, but I got really pissed off when I caught sight of a bastard like you. I may never get to quench my hatred without killing you. May you be reborn into a good family on your journey to hell. Don't be such a dick in your next life. Your mother is the one who's a dick. Xie Yan, you're still too green. You thought I didn't know you could use the finger of flowery swords? Long have I been taking precautions against you. Did you think I didn't know you knew I could use the finger of flowery swords? What do you mean? Bending and turning as one pleases? Impossible. Hemostasis by acupuncture. You guessed it, but sadly there's no prize. Now, the one who should die is you. I just didn't anticipate you could actually practice the finger of flowery swords to that level. Do you really think you can kill me with that kind of power? As one would expect from an expert at the 9th layer of the acquired realm. It's surprising that he can use an attack to neutralize my sword energy. It's a good thing I mounted a sneak attack beforehand. Xie Yan, I admit I underestimated you. Just as the mountains never change and the water ever flows, there'll be ample time for that later. Is that guy running away? That Xie Yan is too abnormal. I can't keep messing around with him. I'd better run for my life. Hemostasis by acupuncture. Oh, and here I thought my attack didn't do shit to you, but it looks like you've got quite a serious problem now. Did I cripple your leg? You can't run now, can you? Don't you know what asking for trouble means? It's not that easy to run when you can't beat them. No good. I'm having trouble with my legs right now. I'd only be a live target, get hit by his finger of flowery swords and wouldn't be able to escape. I'll beat him to death and then run. He was fine when I punched him a moment ago, but I don't believe he'll be fine every time. It's that repulsive force again. What the hell kind of martial art is this? I've never heard of a heavenly guard that can reflect attacks, and why is its defense so much stronger? How do you like my reflection, enforcer? Weren't you here to kill me? Come on, I'll stand here for you, kill me if you can. Xia Yan, I admit your progress is much faster than I could ever imagine. However, you're still no match for me. Soaring Flood Dragon Punch. Divine Impact of Zen. Crushing Flood Dragon Punch. Your so-called reflection is just an injury for an injury. Then let's see if I break your defense and kill you first, or if you kill me first by reflecting my attacks. Wow, it looks like you've got more than just brawn, you've got some brains too, enforcer. But I can heal myself, can you? Alas, I really have no idea what the Great Elder saw in you, you're so ugly. But the most important thing is that even if you're hard or not, you'd have no strength left after doing it twice. It would definitely be most unfortunate if the Great Elder ended up marrying you. Xia Yan Yu. I'm a what now? You think I'm talking about something you can't get hard? I'm talking about your fists. Or what, you're really no good down there. Do you realize just how much of an asshole you are? No one tried to stop you when you wanted to run away, yet you just had to come after me. Hey, I'm this pissed off because of you. You're not going anywhere today, Yigutsun. For long range, he's got the finger of flowery swords. For close range, he's got a completely unreasonable heavenly guard, and he even has a self-healing martial art of unknown origin. Why has this guy suddenly become so hard to deal with? No, if I keep dragging this out, I won't have enough time to escape. I've got to get this over with. I have to gather all my power. Whether I live or die all depends on this punch. You want to hurt my husband? Go to hell. Chin Shitsi, you are. Hey, she beat the wind out of you, but you still have the strength to curse at my wife? My lady, you didn't keep the elders company and came to me. It looks like you were worried sick about me. Indeed. I've missed you both so much. My dear's little thing is so lively and spirited, you're not a eunuch indeed. Ahem, I wonder how things are going over where the matriarch is at? We certainly can't allow the people from the blissful temple to escape. Judging by the situation of the battlefield, they were all stopped by Master and didn't escape from the Great Formation. Then let's go and have a look, maybe we can help the matriarch. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yigitsun may be unconscious, but what if he wakes up midway and flees? As a powerhouse at the 9th layer of the acquired realm, let alone with his 2 remaining arms, he can even drag himself with his thingamabob. Why don't you just cut off his rod, my dear? Why don't you just smash his dantian and cripple his cultivation, my lady? Dang Hongshan, you're my master's peer, and have led the blissful temple's fight against the Maching sect for many years. I'll allow you to choose the way you'll die. Yu Hongyan, I'm well aware you're an indecisive person, short on wisdom and lacking in virtue. Such an extremely risky plan, where just one small moment of carelessness would have made you lose the whole game, is not something your feeble brain could have ever come up with. It's as you say, I don't have the resourcefulness for underhanded trickery, nor do I have the influence to sway the elders of the sect. Even my late master said that I was only gifted enough in martial arts, and that my ability to manage the sect was no more than average. All I've got is the ability to judge other people's characters, that's all. There is an exceedingly bright member in my sect that I found and nurtured to make up for my shortcomings. Master is talking about you, my dear. I'm somewhat jealous that she values you so highly. Sis-Yu, who's usually a cute and adorable little fool, really has the aura of a sect master when it counts. I've always been jealous of you. Why does the Maching sect always get all the outstanding talents? You're clearly just a youngster, but your progress in martial arts is already comparable to mine, and now that you have a think tank, you're even more of a menace, however. The past generations of incredible talents of the Maching sect are often short-lived. Whether it be your master or the Wentingyun of old, none of them have lived beyond the age of 40. Yu Hongyan, you can't change this fate. I'll go first. And wait for you in hell. Rideo, although you're an undercover agent, you've been in the Maching sect since you were a child for more than 10 years. I don't believe you really have any affection for the blissful temple. Although you and I have had less contact in recent years, We had been best friends practicing martial arts together since we were young. Why didn't you reveal your identity? If you had told me, surely I could have helped. As long as you sincerely repent, I'll persuade the other elders to spare your life. Humans are emotional creatures. How could I not know who is good to me? Hong Yan, there are some things you aren't aware of. More than 10 years ago, Dang Hongqin conducted a program in which rather gifted young boys and girls were selected and secretly sent to various major sects to become disciples. Most of these children were discovered, but only I, who was sent to the marching sect, managed to stay undercover and took the opportunity to assume the position as an elder when the sect was in turmoil over the sect master's succession. But because of this, Dang Hongqin saw me as a trump card to destroy the marching sect. When all is said and done, it's nothing more than to do something not of one's own free will. Hong Yan, don't forgive me. How can the crime of treason be forgiven so easily? Otherwise, you'll have a hard time convincing the masses. Purple blood, you took poison? I took the 7 flowers and 5 herbs mystical nether powder. It's impossible to save me now. I originally thought that after the fall of the marching sect, I'd atone for my sins with my life. So I took the poison in advance. Hong Yan, I've deliberately alienated you all these years, and sometimes even stood on the great elder's side. Did I make things difficult for you? No, not at all, just occasionally. I cursed you a few times for being a little girl. It looks like you won't get the chance to curse at me anymore later. When I go to my grave, I'll curse at you the same way. Ha, Hong Yan, you really need to change your nature of not saying what you think. Can the finger of Nirvana save her? Probably, just maybe, it can. But just as she said herself, for Sisu's sake, she can't live. Do you have something on your mind? Let's go. It's not good to gather around and watch Master's private affairs. Xie Yan. 4th Elder, do you have anything else to say? Xie Yan, step down. Rideo doesn't have much time left, don't disturb her. Actually, the 4th Elder has left something out from her disclosure. Anyone who dispatches a mole must have some means of keeping it from betraying them. Otherwise, the 4th Elder would have changed sides long ago of her own volition. I just don't want the 4th Elder to leave any regrets. Oh, so it's you, Xie Yan. There's nothing I can hide from you. Just how smart are you? It's quite simple. My little brother was in Dang Hongqin's hands. If I didn't obey Dang Hongqin, his life wouldn't be guaranteed. When my brother and I parted, he was still very young. So he doesn't even remember he has a sister like me. And now that Dang Hongqin is dead, no one in the blissful temple knows who he is. Hong Yan, promise me, don't let him know that he has as a sister, lest he be heartbroken. I won't, I promise you. When the poison of 7 flowers and 5 herbs mystical nether powder comes into effect, it will be exceptionally painful as it decays my internal organs. Hong Yan, I'd like you to end all of this for me. Then, farewell. Help me, Ling Xian, I was wrong, it is all my fault. Gutsin. I don't know if you approached me, a middle-aged woman, from the heart or for another purpose. But I will always remember those days you were by my side. So, may we never see each other again in this life. Ling Xian, forgive me. The high priestess of the blissful temple and her party were all annihilated, and the marching sect were overwhelmingly victorious. It seems we don't need to do anything. Pack up. Commander, did you gather so many of our men today just to watch the battle? That was the order of the Earth Guardian, there's no doubt about it. The blissful temple lost so miserably, the Earth Guardian sure has some means. That Earth Guardian guy, if I can't afford to anger him, then I can at least try to avoid him, right? I'd better stay at a respectful distance. When the people from Shirilu were lying in wait outside the mountain, I thought they wanted to profit from our misfortune, but they just left? Little Hong Yan managed to finish off Dang Hongqin nicely, and here I thought that at the last moment, I'd have to push my weary old body to the utmost. This is fine as well, my old bones certainly can't stand much action. And that Xie Yan isn't that bad either. The marching sect has no lack of worthy successors. After the news of the death of the 5 and 8 realm experts of the blissful temple, including the high priestess Dang Hongqin, the sect was in total chaos, and the master of the Yinyu County Hall, Bai Suyuan, promptly returned to temporarily assume the role as high priestess and bring the situation under control. Although there are only about 3 and 8 realm experts left in the blissful temple, the great sect formation is completely intact and there's no longer any fear of invasion by outside foes. We're but a shadow of our former selves, and can only cower in a corner, not daring to talk about expansion. From then on, the lowest ranking of the 9 great demonic sects in the Han Empire was no longer the marching sect, and was replaced by the blissful temple, which originally ranked 6th, marching sect. In the past few days, Qin Xinxi has been requesting that I spar with her. For someone as chaste as myself, I was initially going to decline. However, Qin Xinxi solemnly swore that she would never extract my life force again and would instead use the mutually beneficial union of yin and yang technique, so I reluctantly gave it a try in order to uncover the truth. As it turns out, she didn't lie to me, but for me who practices martial arts with the use of origin points, the benefits of this method are limited, not to mention that as the sparring gets more serious, whoever attacks more aggressively will reap more benefits. And I must say, Qin Xinxi is truly fond of throwing her weight around, since she fought using her full might. She totally treated me as a punching bag. A single sparring session with you is better than half a month of plain cultivation. I must say, ever since your visit to Jiangling to practice the finger of flowery swords, you've sure become quite powerful. Not only did you get the junior disciples of the I Ching establishment as your loyal fans, but also got real close with the third elder. And even your relationship with Master has grown increasingly intimate. You must be joking, my lady. The matriarch and I have just an ordinary master and servant relationship and nothing more. Is that so? Master is more inclined to trust you than Wei Ridale, whom she knew since childhood. Is this also part of your so-called ordinary master and servant relationship? And here I was thinking what my lady could be thinking about, but it turned out to be this. In fact, when I first said that I was suspicious of Wei Ridale, the matriarch was a bit angry. However, upon further consideration, Wei Ridale always brought us some good news whenever we were at a loss. That Bai Yuyan in particular came at just the perfect time. Wasn't this all rather a bit too good to be true? Plus, think about what I did that day, my lady. I just informed the elders in advance that there might be trouble at the sect meeting and raised their vigilance. If Wei Ridale was indeed a traitor, then the three elders, as I warned them, would inevitably prepare to strike back at the final moment, just as it happened that day. If not, then we would proceed with the plan to bring down the Great Elder. Ultimately, our goal would be to weaken the Great Elder's influence, without getting our own hands dirty. At the time the human and material evidence were conclusive, the Great Elder's whole group would have fallen into disgrace, and she would be unable to reverse the situation with her power alone. If that's the case, then it's not surprising that Master believed in you. My lady, are you trying to give a small reward for my wise husband, of course. Can't I? Yes, of course, you can, it's just that I'm the one who's going to be rewarding you. No, the next day. Xia Yen. Which of Wei Ridale's holdings remains undistributed? Let's see. There's still the Huawan house in the city of Yen, and the branch in the city of Xufeng unassigned. Last night I sparred with Qin Xinxi more than 10 times. I'm exhausted. Today is an important meeting to decide the distribution of the holdings left behind by Wei Ridale. Why did I almost fall asleep? Yet Qin Xinxi didn't even come for such an important meeting, so it seems that she also had a hard time last night. Qin Xinxi, oh Qin Xinxi, now do you know who's tougher? Since these are the only two left, then I'm not interested in the Huawan house, and am the only one worthy of taking the branch in the city of Kfeng. Who's for it, and who's against it? Ling Xian, you've been given the Mayan business and the Zhoxiang gambling house in the city of Bailu, and you still want the branch in the city of Xufeng? Why don't you take the Huawan house in the city of Yen and let me have the branch? Give her the Huawan house in the city of Yen? Second elder, you haven't asked for my approval yet. So, supposing we give you the Huawan house in the city of Yen, you'll withdraw your claim for the branch in the city of Xufeng? Why would I withdraw? I remember when the crowd from the Blissful Temple came to our sect to kill us, only the matriarch and I fought them. You two just hid in the back and powered the great sect formation. I was seriously injured while fighting, so the Huawan house should be my reward. As for the branch, it's naturally part of my share too. Oh, you fought, so you should be rewarded, and who will make amends for my honor and innocence being tarnished? A few days ago, they were like comrades fighting against the same enemy. Now, in the blink of an eye, they're having a huge squabble over the profit sharing. What a bunch of old foxes. All of you, stop squabbling. Great Elder, I know how to make up for your losses. Third Elder, I haven't forgotten your service during the battle. In my opinion, the Huawan house should be assigned to the Third Elder, while the Great Elder can choose 5 highly qualified disciples to gradually further their training. What do the elders think? I have nothing to say. I suppose that's fair enough. I find it acceptable. As matriarch, I not only hunted down the people of the Blissful Temple, but am also presiding over the general trend of this meeting on your behalf. With all that's been going on, I haven't gotten much for myself. Therefore, I'll take the branch in the city of Tsufing. No wonder the matriarch kept giving out stuff to others in the first half of the meeting, but got nothing for herself, so she was eyeing the last and most profitable property. What a clever strategy. But it seems that the elders were expecting this? No problem, I'm perfectly content with the Huawan house, so I'll let you take over the branch. When the sect was in chaos, the matriarch was the one whose plans and efforts were the greatest. Naturally, the matriarch tops the list for who's entitled to take the branch. Moreover, I'll send both my disciple Shi Yener and Meiling's disciple Ji Chanwu to the city of Tsufing to assist the new branch master in taking office. I thank the elders for their kindness. What assistance? I think it's just for the sake of keeping a close eye on things. Now that you've all gotten your share, and this meeting has come to an end. My personal servant, Xie Yan, also played a considerable role in this incident. All the elders got what they wanted, but Xie Yan hasn't got his due reward yet. Matriarch, I don't have any lofty ambitions. Besides, seeing that the elders have already got their share of the property, it would be inappropriate for me to poke my nose in. Why don't you allow me to choose another martial art from the Sutra Pavilion? I'm not interested in property or anything of that matter, so it would be better for me to get some more martial arts at the Sutra Pavilion again. Hold your horses. Before we give Xie Yan any rewards, there's an old score I'd like to settle with you. Before the meeting, Xie Yan hadn't achieved a single feat and could only at most learn some ordinary acquired realm martial arts. But the matriarch handed him the finger of flowery swords, which I think is highly unorthodox. What do you mean by that, great elder? Could it be that you're looking to condemn me? I wouldn't dare, but rules are rules, after all. If even the sect master doesn't follow them, how can she convince the masses? That's not true, great elder. The matriarch has always been very strict. Oh? When do you think I found out about Wei Rideo's ploy? It was after I discovered it that the matriarch granted Ayami with the finger of flowery swords. Don't mistake the relation of what happened before and afterwards, great elder. That's nonsense. Hey, if you say I'm talking nonsense, then take out the evidence. If there's none, then you're the one who's talking nonsense. Consider the finger of flowery swords as your reward. Other martial arts shall not be mentioned again. Dang, she's shooting her own feet. This old fox. All right, Xie Yan, as the saying goes, don't bite off more than you can chew. The finger of flowery swords is enough for you to practice. You shouldn't waste time with other techniques. Wait until you've advanced to the innate realm, then consider other martial arts. I have a system that can fuse martial arts, so I'm not afraid of biting off more than I can chew, no matter how much you give me. Since the branch in the city of Tsufing now belongs to me, you have no authority to question who I appoint as its branch master. That's only natural. In that case, I will grant the position of branch master to Xie Yan. You want me to be the branch master?